Welcome to the Dirt Life Show with your host, George Hamill.
Yeah, welcome to episode 128 of the Dirt Life Show. We are happy to have you guys here today. Man, we have a good show for you guys lined up tonight. We are at Andy McMillin Racing in Southern California. It's going to be a great show. We have our buddy Seth Quintero in the house too, man.
Hot off the press.
Yeah, hot off the plane, not off the press.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 128 of the Dirt Life Show. We are at Andy McMillin Motorsports. Or actually, what do you call it? Andy McMillin Racing?
Sure.
How about that?
Yeah,
Andy McMillin
good.
Shop here in Southern California. We are excited to have you guys with us tonight. Man, it's going to be a great show. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. We're going to talk about the top level of racing. We're going to talk about grassroots motorsports. We're going to answer all your guys' comments and questions for the man, the myth, the legend here. So we have two awesome Red Bull athletes sitting right next to me. To my far left, we have Seth Quintero. Just got straight off the plane from Miami. Was in the premier motorsports world this weekend with F1 racing. How was it, dude?
Yeah, it was rad. I literally just got off the plane probably.
You still have all your credentials on your arm?
Yeah,
I would keep them too if I were you.
I don't know. This was just last night's wristbands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was a lot of wristbands to throw on, but yeah.
You're getting turned up?
No, just nice and relaxed all weekend watching some racing.
So Seth literally just walked into the building, so he might turn up his mic a little bit and eat some of this canes that we got him over here just so he can have some energy for the show.
About that later.
But tonight's show is going to be awesome. We have a couple special guests that are going to call in. We have Ryan Edwards from KMC Wheels is going to call in. Talk to us a little bit about helping out with Andy's program, and we also have one of all of our buddies from Terra Crew, Darren Parson, is going to call in as well, so that'll be pretty fun. But let me give Andy a proper introduction here. So Andy is a 5-time Baja Champion. Started driving when you were 10 years old, I guess, huh? Man, dude, that's crazy. Raced his first Class 1 race at the age of 14, dude. 14 years old in a Class 1 car, man. Like, that's phenomenal. Like, that doesn't even happen these days, man. And you're featured in the movie Dust to Glory. That, to me, like, just gives me the chills just thinking about it because that movie is so epic.
I know. It makes me seem real old.
Dude.
Now, though, I feel like.
But that's so cool, though.
35 on Wednesday.
You've almost
happy
been
birthday,
driving.
man.
Yeah,
Woo.
thank
You've almost been driving my whole lifetime.
And Andy is the youngest driver to ever win the overall title in Baja, which is fantastic.
Yeah, Baja 1000.
Baja 1000, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. And the winner of many U.S. races like the Mint 400 as well. So welcome, Andy McMillin, to the show, dude.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate
Yeah.
you having me. Thanks for coming to the shop.
Yeah, well, I appreciate
Checking
you
it
having
out.
us here. So we have this fantastic piece of machinery behind us, your weapon of choice for the latest season.
That it is.
That thing is a pretty cool beast, man. Johnny was working on it today. The thing is badass, dude.
Yeah, those trucks are, just the level of the trophy truck nowadays compared to what we had. Even 5 years ago before the all-wheel drive stuff, it kind of hadn't changed in a long time. Some stuff with electronics and data acquisition, but for the most part, the trucks have been, pretty much two-wheel drive monsters for a long time, and that's changed the game.
That's a lot of the stuff that I want to talk about today is getting your personal view of the premier level in motorsports, right? Like, because Seth just got back from the highest level of motorsports on the planet, right? F1 racing.
Yep.
And off-road, in my opinion, is getting a lot of, vibes taken away from F1. There's a lot of data, telemetry, all kinds of different systems that are put together on these new trucks. So I want to talk about the premier level in off-road racing now compared to what it used to be and how you went through those steps.
Yep.
And a lot of stuff like that. I think it's going to be pretty cool, man.
Right on.
Let's see here. So let's go through some of the intro stuff here. Actually, you know what? Since we just talked about the truck, let's switch this camera angle real quick, and then you can tell us who built the truck, who maintains it, that kind of fun stuff, because that thing is bad.
Yeah, so this truck, it's a Mason Motorsports. So I actually had a Mason Motorsports two-wheel drive truck that I drove for about a year and a half before this in 2018 and 19. And then this is the fourth all-wheel drive truck that Mason built, and it was completed in the middle of 2019, and we've been racing it ever since. It's a beast. It's mid-engine, all-wheel drive. It's got a Joe Gibbs racing engine coupled to a X-Track transmission with a torque converter in it. Fox shocks, KMC wheels, Toyota tires, 40-inch tires, 4.5-inch shocks. It's a 105-gallon fuel cell.
Dude, that thing is just a beast, man.
Yeah, it is.
And I like how you slid the sponsor plugs in seamlessly. That was fantastic,
I don't
dude.
know. Seth has been trying to teach me on the side a little bit. That's why I have him hanging around here.
Big
Teach me all the new
big
ways.
sponsor guy over there. All right, well, let's kind of ease into the conversation then while I get some of our sponsor plugs in. Seth, give us a little bit of a rundown on how your weekend was, dude. With the Miami F1, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, that I don't think I'll ever experience anything like that ever again. It was a movie for sure. I mean, showing up to I've never been to Miami. Miami alone is such a beautiful place and really fun to be at. But I mean, F1 it's the pinnacle of all motorsports, and I mean, I got to have dinner with Pierre Gasly and Yuki and the whole AlphaTauri team, get to figure out their team strategy and, hanging out. I got a selfie with Checo, actually. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I got a selfie with Checo. I was in the pits hanging out.
Yeah, you texted it to me.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to take any pictures.
Oh, so he's just throwing jabs like while he's there?
Hey, check
No.
this out.
Okay, so Andy was invited while I was there. I got him a ticket. I was like, hey, dude, talk to James. Like, let's get Andy out here. You had a ticket. You could have came.
I was golfing.
Yeah.
He chose golf over F1 Miami.
I had just started. I couldn't bail on my cousins.
Yeah,
Now
when you're
I had
in
to-
the middle of
I
the
had to go golfing.
conversation or the golf game, dude, you can't cut out,
He
right?
hadn't even started yet.
No, we did. We were like hole 3.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Dude,
Next time.
that's funny, man.
Go to Vegas.
But yeah, dude, so it looks super fun. Like, I'm just pumped that you get the opportunity to be able to do that stuff, dude. It's rad.
Let me ask you. I follow a couple F1 drivers. Obviously, never seen any in person. I went on Pierre Gasly's Instagram page, doing a little bit of stalking myself, and he posted a picture at the gym, and he is yoked.
He's a big dude.
Does he seem like that in person?
So he's probably my height. He's about 6 foot, maybe a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
He's probably like 180 pounds. Like he's not like
Really?
built, but he's cut.
Because he's always wearing like a race suit or like, long
He's
sleeve.
not.
Those
He's
guys
not
are,
like bulked up.
fashionable, right?
He's a lean muscle for sure.
But he's like yoked.
Yeah, he works out a lot.
So he's like a Tour de France guy?
You know what's gnarly is I didn't realize how small Yuki is.
Oh, really?
I'm talking like he's up to here on.
Really?
Yeah, he's got to be barely pushing 5 foot.
They moved the pedal box up for him. And
Yeah,
Really?
for sure. Yeah, he barely pushing 5 foot.
Those dudes are bad, though, man.
Yeah.
And
So how is it compared to off-road?
So this topic could go on for a very long time because like every time Andy and I seem to get together, we seem to try to talk about this and why off-road isn't at that level that F1 is. I mean, obviously there's the reasons, but for the past year or so we've been trying to figure out what's missing from the off-road side to get to that point in level. But I'm not too sure what it is. I don't know if it's just the vibes and people want to be around it and watch, or it's just there's a really smart marketing play from the beginning and large manufacturers are in it, and you could see kids go from go-karts to F3, F2, or go to Indy and then come to F1. So I think it's just because there's a lot of stepping stones and a lot of large manufacturer support where the big money is, and then you come to off-road and the only manufacturer support we have is, back in that day, obviously we had the trucks had some manufacturer support, but now it's Polaris, Can-Am, Yamaha, Kawasaki. It's more the UTV side. So I think that's really the only reason why off-road racing isn't at the level of F1. Obviously, there's other reasons, and it'll never be. I don't think it'll ever be at that level, just because you look at F1 and that's just some serious money and
it's crazy
and bouginess. But
yeah,
I think we can step up the game for sure. And like I was saying, Andy and I have done hours and hours and hours of talking about how we can bring off-road to that next level.
It's cool to see that, though, because like you're getting the opportunity from companies like Red Bull and obviously all your other sponsors to be able to do that, because that didn't exist a long time ago. The crossover or the integration of putting off-road guys in front of F1, and then it kind of happens on the other end, right? Like NASCAR guys will come over and check out off-road. Like, so there is crossover. Like that didn't used to exist.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's super cool that it happens nowadays, and that companies like Red Bull are doing that.
Yeah, I think what's cool about Red Bull is they invest a lot in their athletes, and so they take care of them. Once you're in with Red Bull, you're pretty much in until you mess up and do something stupid, or you dump them, which I actually did back in 2000, at the end of 2007, which was crazy. But no, it's. They like giving back to their athletes and giving them experiences that, like you said, going to F1 in Miami, like people just don't get the chance to go and do and get the VIP access and go to the team dinners.
Exactly. Like not even just that, but like I've branched from racing strictly UTVs in America to going and doing I've driven Extreme E cars, I've driven WRC cars, I've driven, obviously the OT3, I've driven all the T1 cars at this point. So I've been able to branch out and go to so many different sides, and hopefully I can do some asphalt racing next. But yeah, like you said, Red Bull's done such a great job with, not just me, with so many different athletes. You look at the roster of athletes that Red Bull has.
Dude, it happens with like dirt bikes, everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so cool, man. I love all of that versatility that they provide. All right, let's go to a couple other things. I got to get some show stuff out of the way here. So, again, thank you very much for joining us. We're at Andy McMillin Racing in Southern California. Thank you to Seth for joining us. Obviously, thank you to Andy for letting us stay have the show here. Please share all the comments, share everything on Instagram. We're already starting to get some comments in. We'll try to answer as many as we can. So please, thank you, and thank you very much for joining us. And always share the show, man, because it helps everybody, not just the show. It helps all these guys with some of their media stuff, and obviously getting some sponsor stuff out there as well. One of the companies that's giving back, Evolution Power Sports, is one of our sponsors. Super cool. Todd Zaccone, Jacob Zaccone, is a professional side-by-side racer now. And Jacob, in his younger years, had to be at the Phoenix Children's Hospital for some illnesses and stuff. And now Todd has the opportunity to give back. So Evolution Power Sports is going to be doing some really creative, awesome things with the Phoenix Children's Hospital. And I love to see not just the crossover that we're talking about now, but the crossover back into giving back into real world, real life stuff. So kudos to Evolution Power Sports for doing that. Please pay attention to our social media, the Evolution Power Sports social media. I know these dudes sitting right here will definitely try to help out if they have the opportunity as well. And we were going to talk about like the stuff tonight. I think that Seth is a good person to talk about this with. Andy is already at the pinnacle of the off-road racing world in all-wheel drive trophy truck, and Seth is on his way, right? So I think it'll be really cool to bring up those subjects and talk about how younger drivers do that. We have a lot of young drivers in our audience.
Did you talk to him about this stuff before the show?
I swear I didn't. So like what you're saying right now, we talk about on a daily basis.
Oh, really?
For hours at a time, we'll talk about it.
I just thought it was a good conversation because, like me, I mean, I'm an old guy now, but I still want to know the same kind of thing. Like, if I wanted to race right now, like this is the perfect two people to talk to, right? So I think it'll be cool because there's a lot of young people in our audience that I think will get a lot of information out of it. And then maybe we'll talk about how it correlates to some of the other racing genres that we are able to see. And I want to know one specific question today.
Oh, no.
Seth.
Oh, no.
Did you wear your blown-out Vans to the F1 race?
No. They're new.
Okay,
They're
nice. Thank God.
Yeah, hold on.
I was a little scared that he went.
How do you know about my blown-out Van? Did you talk crap about it?
No, I seen him, dude. I saw you, a week ago?
Yeah, no, you're right. No,
they were haggard.
And then your mom posted something on her Instagram. I think it was when you were shopping to go to Miami. We were looking at some nice colored shirts to mix in with the vibes, and your mom zoomed in on your shoes.
They were
I called you out for like a couple days before. I'm like, dude, your shoes have 3 holes in them. You got to up your game.
They're my Lamborghinis, dude. They're my Billy drivers.
That's all right. Dude, they were smoked, bro. So I'm glad that you got the newies. You had to bring out the bad boys to impress.
Van, sponsor me if you're watching this, please.
And please, like I said, share the show. You can always watch us on YouTube and Facebook at a later date as well if you guys don't get to catch the live show. But the live show is always the best, man. So come hang out with us on Monday nights. Let's see here. And if you are driving across country, just listen to us on iTunes or Spotify, man. Thank you very much to all the guys at KMC Wheels. You know those guys a little bit, both of you guys.
Big ups to those guys.
Yeah, thank you to them for not only supporting us and the show, supporting these guys' race program, but supporting the industry as a whole. These guys are at all the events, hanging out. So thank you to Ryan and Ryan. Ryan Edwards is going to call in. I suggest that you guys head over to your local four-wheel parts dealership, ask them what the brand new KMC wheels are, and go check them out. They have some forged ones, machined aluminum ones, and they also have cast ones, too, that you can put on your rig. Which ones are you going to put on your truck, or did you already?
What truck? Which truck?
Oh, look at this guy,
flex
dude.
over here.
Dude.
No.
Could you feel that flex?
No. I've driven some WRC cars.
Hey, I'm talking about the truck behind me because, the Andy said that he's kind of getting older and he's ready to retire soon. So.
So you're trying to put it on that truck?
Yeah, rumor on the block is I'm racing the 500 under his name.
That's going to be pretty cool, man. I can't wait to see that. So check out the KMC wheels at your local 4-wheel parts dealership. Please go support the guys over at Motul Lubricants. Those guys do a bunch of cool stuff for the off-road racing world. We are going to be in Texas at Texplex for the Outlaw Series this weekend. Doing a little bit of commentating and live feed stuff over there. Motul has a very good presence over there, so please support Motul because they support the racing community. Support the guys over at Shock Therapy. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at Shock Therapy. shocktherapist.com or Shock Therapy USA, and save yourself some money on some limit straps, a steering rack, a bump steer delete kit, all that good stuff, man. They make fantastic products, so go over to the website and save yourself some cash. I got my JL Audio shirt on. Thank you to JL Audio for making such fantastic products that just crank up the music. We were listening to some pretty good music in the shop today.
Yep.
Johnny
rocking it.
Johnny had the good playlist.
Johnny's got the tunes.
Typically, it's Hip Hop Fridays.
But he said he switched it to Monday for today.
Okay.
He said the vibe was high. So
all right.
So thank you to Johnny for playing some good tunes, and thank you to JL Audio for being part of the show. Like I said, thank you very much to Evolution Power Sports for not only supporting the show but being just good human beings in general and giving back to the community and the off-road racing world. Thank you to the guys over at Zollinger Racing Products, ZRP. You can use the code TheDirtLife at ZollingerRacingProducts.com. Get yourself some tie rods, radius rods, match up with your Shock Therapy steering rack. Oh, and I actually got a text message saying that you have some cool stuff happening with Vision Canopies.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
You know those guys?
Yeah, I do. Kyle over there he just texted and he said that you guys have some cool stuff.
I went one of the first off-road races I went to in person that I can remember, 1999 Baja 500. We went with our good friends, the Smiths and the Aaronsbergs. And Kyle and his brother Matt were there on that trip with us at the Baja 500 23 years ago.
Dude, how freaking crazy is that?
Pretty
it comes
wild.
full circle.
It does. Wild.
Dude.
You want to feel old?
Oh, dude, the flexing that he goes to one F1 race and just comes back.
I'm not flexing. I just want to ask if he wants to feel old.
Oh.
No.
So your first Baja was what year?
99. What were you born? Like 2002?
02, baby.
Hey, but you can
one day you'll be sitting in the seats.
I was gonna say, like, you could just flex right back.
But as of right now, I gotta like embrace
No,
me
you should.
being young.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It humbles me. So I appreciate you doing that.
So maybe that's where this show is going to end up going. Like, I feel kind of like a battle path happening. Like, what's going to happen at the end?
That's what he does to me every day.
Oh, we bark at each other all day long,
dude.
But it's the most fun.
For anybody that doesn't know, Seth actually helps. Helps you pay rent. He's got a little part of the shop over here.
You could say that.
I could say that. I just bring the vibes, honestly.
He does.
That's all I do.
It's just like Johnny, Adam, my other guy Adam here. We're all in our mid-late 30s. Seth is 13, 14, so he brings the younger vibe around and helps us feel youthful, and so that's always.
Is he allowed to share the playlist with you guys?
For sure. No, he takes over the playlist.
Whenever I'm here, I take over the playlist.
Yeah.
That's a dude. That means you're accepted.
Play some LMFAO.
But it's some weird flex too. On that side, there's the music that you put on.
Oh, my music's great.
I know, but it's just not always in tune with what we're feeling. And then he'll just come in and just give us a 180, and we're like,
boom.
Okay, we're going country, I guess. All right, that's cool.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, man. Okay, and then so thank you to the guys over at Cryo Heat as well. Those guys are doing awesome stuff in Oceanside, California. You can get yourself a Pro Mod transmission, save yourself some weight, get yourself less rolling resistance in your car. All right, so let's jump into the show, man. Our featured guest, like I said, is Andy McMillin. All kinds of racing credentials. Stoked to be able to come here and talk with him. So what was I know you have a lineage of off-road in your family, but what was the thing, like the qualifying thing that made you want to do it? Because sometimes, you're in off-road, you want to go play baseball. You don't want to do it dead. Like, what's the...
No, I grew up... So I started going to the races when I started going on the pre-runs, actually, when I was 3 or 4 years old. My dad had a pre-run Bronco and had 2 seats in the front, took out the back seat, put one, kid seat in it. And that's what he put me in like a modified kind of car seat thing. Threw me in that and took me down pre-running the Baja 500, Baja 1000. And I loved it. I mean, I loved the culture, the people, the terrain, the sense of adventure. It was just something that I went back to school or preschool or whatever the heck I was back then. And other kids weren't doing that. Yeah. So it was just kind of something different. And then obviously we go out to the sand dunes, Gordon's Well, Glamis. Grew up doing that, spending, Thanksgiving and Christmas out there, New Year's, obviously. Not Christmas, New Year's. And
sometimes people just get out there on Christmas, though.
Maybe I did a couple of years, actually, now that I think about it.
We saw some people had a Christmas tree out there one year with the presents, the whole deal.
Yeah. So we used to go to the New Year's race.
Yeah.
There was a series promoter out there called Fud Pucker.
Really?
And he would put on these races. No, weird name. But
Okay,
his name was Otis Fudpucker. That was his name.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
And we call him Fud. And actually, you start talking about my first race driving at 14. That's the series I did it in. Like, you were supposed to have a permit and like a license and like do all this stuff. Well, we said my dad was driving, and I just
put on your helmet.
He filled out the form. We put our helmets on with some tinted visors. Left our pit to go to the start line, sat in the car, never got out. No one came up and like asked any questions. And then boom, 14 years old, my dad was right with me. We hit the start line.
Dude,
that's sick.
And but I was, I loved off-road racing just because going around it, seeing all the big teams, Ivan Stewart, Robbie Gordon, Larry Ragland, Walker Evans, and just wanting to be that. I mean, waiting in the middle of nowhere for 2 hours, and then the first truck comes through and the fans get hyped and all the people watching get hyped, and it's just like, it's an adrenaline rush like no other. And I was like, man, one day it'd be so rad to be one of those guys.
Air Dog says welcome, hello from Ridgecrest, and he also said welcome home, man.
That sucks. I haven't seen my dad in like a week, and he just went out of town again, so I got another week till I see him.
We're gonna get back into talking about what Andy was talking about, like growing up in the off-road culture. But I just remembered what I was looking at your social media, Seth. Like, did you pack Miami T-shirts? Like,
I went full Miami vibe.
Yeah, you should.
I was thinking the same. Like, where do you go to get that though?
Nordstrom's Rack.
Oh, you got to go there.
Clearance aisle.
Nice.
$5 tees. You're on.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I was halfway buttoned down. I had the chains out. You know what I mean?
Of course.
A white hat.
Like 3 buttons down right here.
You're not allowed to wear socks there, are you?
What?
In Miami, I thought there was no socks allowed.
I've never worn low-cut socks in my life, but I bought those.
Oh, you had to run those? Yeah, that's the vibe,
shorts.
right?
Yeah.
F1 made them be somewhat sanitary, I guess.
Yeah, you could run low socks, like the Lolo ones, like Andy's got on.
The no-shows?
Yeah.
These are like stance.
I don't know. Andy's got some serious style going on. Skinny jeans, running shoes. What else you got going?
They're not really skinny jeans. My legs are just crazy.
I am.
So
hey,
it just comes off that way.
So the Ryans, I need to have this jacket. I really like this jacket, dude. Let's talk
I
about.
think I got it like 3 years ago.
We'll just talk about fashion all night.
Yeah,
Miami fashion.
I don't know anything about it. But.
So growing up, like, because Seth and I both did similar things like that. Growing up, going to the dunes and stuff like that. But there's still like that. It's the next level that you're thinking, because you're a young kid, right? You don't really know, and then you get this opportunity at 14 years old. You're in that transitionary stage. You're figuring out who you are as a person. Like. Yep. What leads you to wanting to do off-road? Because that's a pretty solid commitment.
I think I grew up playing basketball. Probably when I was 8 or 9 years old, I started playing competitive basketball. I don't know how I got into that. Honestly, probably just elementary school, playing on the playground with the kids. I was just always just a competitive kid. Like whether it was a card game with my grandma or Monopoly with my family, like I always wanted to win. And so through basketball, when I first started driving, our family's old race cars pre-running when I was 10, 11 years old. I wanted to get better. I wanted to progress. I wanted to be good. And I thought, okay, I'm given the opportunity to put in the work, and my dad's allowing me to drive. So let's make the most of it. And honestly, my dad was a big catalyst in allowing me, obviously, to get behind the wheel of these old race cars and giving me the confidence.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing is just, I'm 14 years old and you're going through a weird stage in life and you're changing from a boy into a man around then. And my confidence wasn't super high. And he's just like, hey, you can do this. You got this. Like I have full trust in you. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Well, let's do it.
And those opportunities don't come up that often, but like when I think about it, how do I think about it? Let me see. Like, I always think like, okay, so I was going to the dunes and I was having fun like on 2 wheels or 4 wheels, and then I chose 2 wheels and I wanted to go that route. But the reason that I wanted to do it, and I kind of am getting the vibe, I know Seth is like this, but it's not necessarily always about winning races. It's about achieving more and reaching goals and having something to look forward to, right? Mm-hmm. Like we always talk about the vibe in your head that makes a champion, right? Yeah. You're a multi-time champion. When you get done with one race, the first thing that you probably do is debrief to get better for the next race, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and that's what drives that mindset. And I feel like you started having that at a super young age when you started seeing these little tidbits driving with your dad.
Yeah. Yeah. And you hit the nail on the head. And actually, it's a very short debrief because right away I'm going into how do I win the next race?
Yeah, it's not
It's
really
just
a
like-
debrief. It's just
It's almost it's never enough. Like as soon as you taste a little bit of success, or when I first started racing and I passed a guy and I knew I was faster than him, and it just built my confidence. Like it just became this game within myself of just always trying to better myself. And
it's crazy how it works, though, right? And that like it's that want that just keeps driving you forward. And like a lot of people don't actually get that. And there's some of our audience that it's like, how do I get to a race? How do I race a car? It's because they have a little tiny taste of it, but then when it sucks you in, dude, it's really good.
It does. That's off-road racing, I think, and just the off-road culture it's so addicting. And it's so fun, and it's a sense of adventure, and you get to do with your families and your friends, and you're just around good people that you want to be around. It's addicting.
Yeah, it's crazy how it works, man. And I love talking about this stuff because I love the way that the human body actually moves forward and actually escalates in progressing in life, right? Like it's not about just winning the race. It's not about getting the trophy. It's not about getting the money. It's about doing better and satisfying your soul or your
it's a love for progression.
Yeah, there it is. That's the exact way to do it. Dude, audio clip. How far are we in?
It's like you kind of tripped me out though, because like we literally had this conversation a week ago. Like I feel like I'm back in the truck. I picked him up from the airport.
Really?
Yeah, and we were having the same conversation, and like I can just go back and be like this is stuff we talk about nonstop. So
should I change the subject?
No, keep it going.
Okay.
We talk about that. We'll talk about it over and over and over again. But like I love this because like we keep it very low key between ourselves. Like what we are talking about right now. It's nice to like get out and let people know like, hey, like we're not just like we want to see this do better. We're not in it just for us. We're in it for the next generation. And so I'm excited to keep this going.
But it's so cool to see that because like it's literally what I just said. That's what drives champions. Like you could talk to anybody, even outside of motorsports, and talk to Michael Jordan. He was never satisfied, and not in a bad way. He always wanted progression.
Yeah,
and that's what drives successful people, whether it's business or motorsports, whatever it is. So I'm glad that you guys have that conversation because that conversation should never get old.
Yeah, and I think I watched the documentary The Last Dance, being a big basketball fan growing up, and I think he said, like, I'd set goals, but then once I accomplished that goal, how are we going to get to that next level? How are we going to keep progressing? And that was super inspiring to me. Like, just don't give up, set a goal, go crush it. As soon as you crush it, keep reaching higher and higher. Like, don't just settle for whatever goal you set. Just
keep going.
Keep going. Keep moving.
Are there some things that you can help Seth with when he asks you these questions, when you have these conversations?
That's a good question. I know we probably need to get into the nitty-gritty details about
do this for hours. Like
what that is. I mean, it's hard. Seth has already had so much success in his, I guess, relatively short career, even racing here 12, 13, 14. So, I don't know. Like, I didn't start having a lot of success until I was his age. And he's already had a lot, and he's only 19.
Yeah, but that's a weird subject for me because it's like I've had a lot of really awesome wins so early, but that almost like kind of killed me because I needed, like, it made my standards so much higher, so much faster. So, like, when I wasn't even pro yet and I was winning these amateur races, when I turned pro, I wasn't going to accept a second place.
Right.
Every year, and I'm sure my mom and dad are listening, we would say every year, because every year I would join a new class. I was getting older, and I never wanted to stay. I was always looking for competition. I always wanted to go further and further. And we said every year was a learning year, and not one year have we, like, tried to keep it a learning year because I think we're just a really competitive family. And like we're talking about, it's the love for progression, and I want to progress so fast, but it's also like kind of a downplay on my part because what if I make my career short because I didn't I could still be racing, work short course or still be in the NA class trying to battle with those guys, but I want progression so bad that I'm willing to give up winning a couple more races and where I know I can do well, where I'm already doing well, to go find more competition. Not saying like the people that I used to race were bad or whatever, but like I wanted something new, and I almost like that would hurt me in a sense because that's all I want. I want new stuff every day. I want to keep going, keep going.
Saying that stuff is you're in the perfect situation, right? Because now you have a mentor with Andy, and Andy, it's awesome that you give him the opportunity to do this because you see the success and drive that he has, right? Like that doesn't happen very often. Like that's a really cool dynamic for you guys to have.
Yeah, I don't even know what led to me reaching out with you to begin with.
I think honestly, I think we just have a very similar mindset when it comes to not just racing, but other things as well.
Yeah, I must have saw something. Yeah, I must say talking something or finish line interview or something. I'm like, dude, Seth is really mature for a 19-year-old. Like I remember myself at 19, I was a freaking squirrel. I was nowhere near like what Seth is or how he presents himself. Nice. And he just, I mean, the sky's the limit. He just has so much opportunity on his plate.
That gives you a good understanding of like what the new vibe can be for you, because you can like live vicariously through that as well.
100%. No, and I mean, I have a son who's 4 years old, and it'd be interesting to see, being a competitive person. That's one thing I'm scared of, is like living too vicariously through my own son, and like wanting to, like, I don't want to be the dad that's pushing him into something or making him do something he doesn't necessarily want to do because I want it so bad for him. So I think that's going to be a valuable lesson for me to learn, is just like, let him do what he wants to do. Let him be who he wants to be. And that's life, and it's his life, and it is what it is. But if he chooses motorsports, or if he chooses baseball, or if he chooses, art and he's drawing weird pictures, like, I'm okay with that.
Drawing weird pictures.
You definitely got to give him a little boost into some of these things.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
You need a little push.
Yeah.
You need
just give him a little push, and then let him play
like
with
my
it.
parents gave me enough guidance. Like, they give you enough rope. You either hang yourself or you make a lasso, or I don't know.
Whatever.
Dude, they gave you a lot of rope, because they gave you a 14-year-old. They gave you a Class 1 car. That's pretty sick.
For sure. For sure they did. And they made me earn it. They made me work on that thing and take it apart and be at the shop every summer, working and putting in the hours and getting CV grease all over my hands and all over my nose. And I had older guys at our race shop that would give me a hard time and make me earn my keep. But I think I earned their respect over the years. And, it was all part of the learning curve and the lesson on just growing up.
I think that's super cool, though, that you have that opportunity. Like, for me, it kind of worked out a little bit the same way, too. Like, I grew up working at my dad's transmission shop. I got squirted by automatic transmission fluid, like all the guys picking on me, calling me the little kid, the whole deal. And then growing up racing dirt bikes, I kind of did the same thing as what Seth was talking about. Like, always wanted to be in the better class. I would race in 80 expert class, and then I'd race in 125 intermediate, and then I'd race in 250 intermediate. And luckily, I was fast enough I could clean house and take home all the money. But that was like exactly what Seth's talking about. You never put yourself in a place where you're satisfied, because you're never going to grow.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
That's super cool that you guys have that, and you can share it together. Like, that conversation that you guys had from the airport is very rare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, it's real.
Yeah,
it's a very real conversation, and it happens a lot more than you'd think.
And it's hard because it's so much easier to look at things in a negative light than in a positive light. Like, there's so many things happening that are negative, but it's important to take a step back and just kind of look at where you are and just.
Have you ever heard anybody use the phrase "never throw your helmet" like after a bad race? Like, because there's always those guys at the track, and everybody
100%.
looks at it. You're like,
just talking about this in Miami.
Seriously?
Yeah,
dude, we're on the same.
I'm reliving the past week. I was just talking to Mitch Guthrie about this. About that throwing the helmet thing.
Yeah, don't be a little bitch. Just suck it up and get better next time, right?
There was a couple F1 drivers that were throwing helmets because they lost.
And plus,
I was just talking about this.
At that level, come on.
Yeah, you see somebody throw a helmet, and you're like, man,
you
do not deserve that helmet anymore.
All right, so we're all on the same wavelength here, and I hope that you guys enjoy that, because that means a lot to everybody around here. And whenever you see these dudes, take some time and ask them these questions. I mean, the understanding and the level of love that they have for the sport is insane. But I want to go to some stuff that's a little bit simpler here. Like, one of the questions that I had on my list was, what is your favorite? I call it a track, but like, do you like racing in Baja more? Or is there a track in the United States that you like? Would you like to go somewhere else like Dakar? Like, what's the interest level in the terrain that you have?
I grew up in Baja. I grew up going to Baja, so Baja will always have my heart for sure. Just the Baja 500, Baja 1000 is a great race. It's for me, it's a lot more stressful. The Baja 500 is my favorite race of the year. I think it's the perfect distance. Most of the time you go over the mountains, you run through the desert, you're on the fire roads up around like Sky Ranch, you come back to the beach and run up the coast. You get
I heard
back
it was
into
going to be a
tight
little
stuff.
different this year, though.
Oh yeah,
I heard. I don't know if that's true.
Somewhere I saw or someone told me no beach this year. I think Austin Fishistics told me that.
Crap.
So that should be
Lame.
interesting because I like the beach.
Yeah.
I like running at the beach.
Absolutely.
Looking at the waves.
Yeah, because it gives you that
Looking at the
time, like
waves.
in Supercross, you get that time in the air to pull a Terra off and breathe. Like I
Right.
feel like the beach is that part of.
To a certain extent. There's some good straightaways where you can kind of take a breath, but I mean, the way the racing is nowadays in a lot of the classes, I mean, there's not. I mean, my cousin beat me last year at the Baja 500 by 4 seconds. Like, there's not a lot of times where you can just take a hand off the wheel and get a drink of water unless you're in a speed zone. Like, it's full kill, full game the whole time.
Dude, that's so insane. Like 4 seconds. Like
Gnarly.
this racing has gotten, like I'm saying, like that's the main thing that I thought about today's show was the pinnacle of that. Like that never used to happen. 4 seconds.
No, it was 10, 15 minutes. And that shows you the evolution of not just the drivers, but like the vehicles, which is crazy because back in the day, it was, I mean, still today in some classes, it's a game of endurance. And now
That's wild.
In these trucks, it's like, all right, well, whoever makes it to the finish line first wins, and you're going to drive hard the whole way. You have the tools to do it, which is nuts compared to, say, like 5 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're talking about the tools to do it, you mean like the equipment, like the trucks
Yeah,
and stuff
exactly,
like that?
exactly.
Yeah, and dude, it's insane. Even the way that UTVs have developed. I mean, like we brushed on it a little bit over the past couple of shows, like how well Mitchie did at the Silver State 300. Like, I mean, the whole level is going so much different than what it used to be. Like, that's one of the questions I think we should probably dip into is like the difference in equipment that you have today sitting right behind us compared to 2 years ago, because 2 years ago, those trucks are still no slouch. They're badass.
Yeah, probably. So I got this truck 3 years ago, and the first Mason all-wheel drive was built in 2017. My cousin Luke actually raced it at Vegas to Reno for the Mason brothers. And the truck has come a long way since then. And, but yeah, these trucks are in the high 7,000 pound range at the start line. My old 2-wheel drive was 6,300 pounds.
And you said the gas tanks are somewhere between 100 and 120 gallons.
Similar. My 2-wheel drive had a 100-gallon cell. This one's got 105.
Yeah.
But this has, over 1,000 horsepower. My 2-wheel drive had a little bit over 800. Shock technology, tire technology, the amount of drivers that have good equipment, like this truck sitting behind me that are battling it out. It's pretty insane, but it pushes the sport forward and makes it fun. It kind of levels out the playing field with everyone, which I think is really good.
Well, 4 seconds, dude. I mean, that's just
it's
insane.
it's like the spec trophy truck class.
Yep.
Like that's an amazing class right now because really talented drivers, really good equipment, good trucks that are almost bulletproof to a certain extent. And spec motors, so just really, really good hard racing.
I've always told everybody, like, if I was going to be able to have a good, healthy budget, I would do either a Pro R, like what Mitchie is doing, or a spec truck.
100%.
Because I feel like those classes are really competitive, and there's always more drive to go forward. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, I was talking to Seth about that the other day, just the evolution of the UTVs.
Yeah.
I mean, just how far they've come. I mean, I remember when the Yamaha Rhino came out in like 2006.
You have one?
Maybe. I think my dad got one, and we had it down to the races. We brought it in San Felipe. We were railing the dunes in it. Like, it was such a blast.
You didn't kill it?
I didn't kill it. I was nice to it. But just to see where that thing was compared to like what Mitch was doing at Vegas to Reno.
Oh my
with
God.
that
Yeah.
Polaris, it's mind blowing, but like that's I feel like that's a future of our sport. That's where it's going. Polaris is a really big company with obviously a really good backing, and what they're throwing into the sport and how they're pushing it and progressing it forward. It's exciting to see.
Seth, it kind of sounds like he's getting to be a big side-by-side guy.
Yeah, I mean, he still won't get in the passenger seat of a car, but
I just haven't had the opportunity to get to go to a test.
I've
and
asked
just
you,
ride
and
with it.
he doesn't.
It freaks me out. Like,
Being in the passenger seat, you mean?
To a certain extent, I'll go with certain guys. But just, I don't know, just seeing the side by side, and he's like, dude, I'll do 80 through the whoops through Barstow, and I'm like,
oh well, yeah.
dude, I don't think
I
speak
get
that
what you're
language.
saying. Yeah, and it's a lot different than what you're used to, right?
100%.
Like, yeah. So I can totally see the vibe that you're talking about. But do you drive side by side still? Are you into it?
I don't. I mean,
got one.
I have one, but like we take it out to a river house, and I putt around in it with my kids. but we don't go down to Mexico and do Mexico trips in them. So
Right.
like I probably haven't been exposed to the full capability of them, which is probably why it seems so gnarly to me that they can go the speeds they go over the terrain that says that they do.
I feel like it's a little different though. Like I would probably be the same as you though, because you have trucks that you pre-run in that are a little bit more capable, like these things and stuff. So I could see where you want the same feeling. Like if you're riding dirt bikes, right? It's hard to go from a small bike to a large bike, or a 125 to a 250, or 250 or 450. Like, so just keep everything kind of on the same plane, and it helps.
And it's just what you're used to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's.
Do you think that a lot of the side-by-side guys get build their driving skills well enough to be able to compete in these big classes?
I mean, I would assume so. You know, what they're doing in side-by-sides is what I was doing with my family's old, you know, kind of outdated Class 1 cars in our pre-runs back in the day with 6-cylinder motors with, you know, only 18, 19 inches of travel. Their top speed was 100 miles an hour, 105 miles an hour. Like, it's pretty much what the Pro R that Mitch drives will do today. So
that's a good point to bring up, right? Like, so that's that evolution that we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Like, so side-by-sides have caught up to what some of those classes were back in the day, right? I mean, like, if you put a flat-out 10 car and up against Mitchie's, it's going to be a very close race at this point in the evolution of off-road, right?
Yeah, I mean, I remember in the early 2000s, to be competitive in Class 10, you had to run a Honda engine.
Yep.
And it was one of those VTEC engines. It was like $30-something thousand just for the engine.
That's nuts. You can go out and buy a Pro R for
You can go get a Pro R for that.
Yeah.
And do a couple little things to it and go race it at the Baja 500 or San Felipe or Vegas to Reno.
Yep.
And it's just so much more approachable. I think that's a big reason why the sport's growing like it is right now.
That's a good point to bring up. Yeah, because like the Esslinger engines and some of the Pro Light short course trucks going in the one that we switched to the V8s, those Esslingers were like 50, 60 grand just for a freaking motor.
Yeah.
So I got a question. So now that the Pro R is out, right? Because we've talked about this a few times, so where you can't really see somebody going from a UTV straight into a trophy truck and being competitive, and what the stepping stone is to that. But now that the Pro R is out, and I mean, Mitch showed it could be a Class 1, it'll be a Class 10. Do you go from the Pro R to a 6100, or do you still try to get into a car?
I feel like you should, because you're going to be the one that answers this, but I want to give my opinion.
I want to hear your opinion, yeah.
I feel like you should still go into a spec truck, like a 6100 truck, because the way that the vehicle operates is completely different in the steering wheel and with your feet than it is in a side-by-side. Like, you can't, there's no replacement for that weight and the way that the truck moves.
No, 100%. And yeah, the weight difference is the biggest thing there. But I think you ask a great question.
It is a great question.
You know, right now you would probably go from like a Pro R to maybe a Class 10. Maybe, I don't know. There's not a lot of Class 1s racing in score right now. There's like 5 or 6 or 7.
I feel like Seth's suggestion of a 6100 is a good stepping stone, though.
I would agree. I mean, the problem is the price difference.
Yeah, that's my next question. Is how do you get there?
The Pro R and what you buy for that, what that costs you a year to go and race it. And your chase crew and your support crew, it really, correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't demand a whole lot of people, we got someone going.
Yeah, check it out. So look, we have here Darren Parsons. What's up, homie? How are you? Welcome to episode 128 with boss Andy and Miami Vice over here, Seth Quintero.
Yeah, you guys are styling.
Dude, they are styling. Seth even has his nice shoes on today.
I got the nice shoes on today. I don't got the.
Dude, he's straight off the jet, right? Like straight jet setting today, isn't he?
He hasn't even got a chance to eat his canes.
No, I got off the plane. I landed at 3:55, and I got here right at 5 o'clock. I had like 10 seconds before it went live.
Yeah, he literally ran up to the seat.
Dude, you should have told that limo driver to stand on it.
I know.
Those limo drivers, they can't be hanging out like that.
Your Uber was pretty pinned, though.
That was my mom came down, picked me up in my truck, and we're on our way.
Oh, that's where you get it from, huh?
Hey, so Darren, thank you very much for joining us, man. So a couple of things that we've been talking about today is like the pinnacle of off-road, right? And so all of us have known the lower levels in off-road, going to the dunes, going out, you know, taking your daily driver, your side-by-side, whatever it is. When did you meet Andy? Like, what stage was he when you started knowing who he was?
I mean, I was that dorky kid that freaking hopped in whatever buddy's vehicle we could get into to go down to Mexico and race. And the McMillin family obviously was the pinnacle of off-road racing in Mexico. So I think I've followed Andy as long as we've had social media. Thankfully to be able to stay tuned to it. But yeah, it's been time, at least 15 or so years of following Andy and the family, of the McMillin family. And yeah, absolutely.
Looks like we lost some audio with Darren there. It's crazy to see that. Well, it's got to feel good, though, when you hear stuff like that, right? Because it means that people genuinely care about what you're doing, right? And again, like we're talking like we're old grandpas now, but like so when social media didn't like happen, like it was way different than what it is now, because now we can actually show the kids, show the fans, and show everybody how cool it is. And
like the earliest social media for me when I was racing back then was YouTube.
Yeah.
And
really?
I was showing Nelson, my guy back here, like some old YouTube videos from 2005, 2006. And yeah, it was social media before there was social media, and it was just trying to bring the fans into what we were doing and show them how we do it. And yeah, but social media has changed the game for sure.
It really has, but I think it's not just bad. I mean, like, well, it's a pain in the ass, right? Like, if I didn't have to do social media, I never would.
Same.
Like,
right.
But it is cool though, right? That we can actually
probably go on it. Unfortunately, I would still go on it to like look what people are doing
because you're hyped on it, right?
Yes,
and so think about the opposite, right? People are looking at you because they're hyped on what you're doing. So it's cool. And I wanted to take a second because Nelson, your media guy, was telling me that you guys are restarting your YouTube channel too.
Yep. Yeah, we are. Nelson came in and threw some ideas around on the table, and yeah, we're relaunching. Hey, there we go, Darren.
There we go. So
good to have you back.
Let's finish that convo though. So what kind of stuff are you doing on the YouTube channel?
So we're pretty much just trying to bring everyone in behind the scenes on what goes into pre-running for the races down in Baja, all the pre-running, the functions testing, getting the truck ready in the shop. And then the strategy and the race day and pretty much everything that goes in behind the scenes leading up to the race.
I'm raising my hand right here. Can I make a huge suggestion?
Let's do it.
So I heard a couple of your conversations, like a fly on a wall. You were talking about eating healthy. You were talking about behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Like, is there any way you could introduce some of that stuff? Because I think that stuff is so cool.
Yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, like, I don't know, when I talk about things with my guys in the shop, I don't think like people will find this interesting or that people really care about what we're saying or what we're doing right now. But
I had to go get Seth Canes, and I was like,
didn't have to.
Well, I wanted to get me some too.
Nice and
So,
sweet.
but I wanted to stay and have that conversation because I was like, dude, this is where it's at. Like, this is what I want to talk about today.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff to me seems so cool because that's the level of our sport, the pinnacle of our sport. It's making you guys think outside the box to be able to like have that advantage, right?
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, it's just self-confidence. It's mental clarity, and any kind of little advantage you can get going into a race to kind of separate yourself from the competition is things I'm willing to do.
So talking about that, we're going to actually have a show with the guys at Fluid Logic and Maglock in the next couple months here about all that stuff. So, all right, Darren, are you good to go now?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, it sounds much better, dude. All right, so you were talking about knowing Andy for quite a while now and following him for quite a while. Like, what's the attraction to all the stuff that he's doing for you?
Well, I mean, obviously he is the pinnacle. You think of the pinnacles in off-road, you definitely think of Andy and the Mason all-wheel drive truck and the 1,000 horsepower big blocks. Like, doesn't get any better than that. But then also, I think that him partnering with Nelson to go down to Baja and show a lot more of that behind the scenes stuff definitely just makes the draw of attention even more, because now I'm like, hey, we get to see more of what's actually going on down there. I feel like there's only a few drivers that are doing it. And you know what? I as much as I appreciate the very professional level edits and content that comes from the racing down there, I want to see the raw stuff. I want to see them down there experiencing what I would want to experience when I go down to Mexico. I'm not going to be able to be up in a helicopter chasing a trophy truck at 130 miles an hour. But I'll tell you what, like, I'd love to see what kind of taco shop and when we go down there again, like, I want to be like, hey, that's like that's where I could go get tacos where McMillin family eats, and like that's where that's the kind of place I want to rent for my family,
right?
To go
100%.
stay at when we go down there. I want to go find a freaking cool beach house that we can go take our pre-runner to, and we can go cruise around and mess around with all the local activities and stuff like. So I think that bringing that authentic, natural environment into social media for Andy is going to be huge this year. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of it.
Yeah, same. I like those suggestions too.
No, I appreciate that.
So
that's what, like, when we're doing stuff and when we're trying things out, because this is somewhat new for me and what I've been showing people.
Well, Nelson just wrote down a whole like Bible of all this stuff that we just talked about. So
perfect. Keep note taking notes. But yeah, I mean it's important because without the fans, without the engagement from people, like it's a lot harder to do our jobs and provide the value to our sponsors. Without a lot of TV coverage and there is some TV coverage, but it comes out a month or two after the race. Yeah. And by that time it's like you're trying to reach people outside the sport, but then how are you engaging them 2 months after the race to really have an understanding for what it is that we do? How do you show a quick highlight of that? It's hard. So I think, the YouTube platform, the social media stuff, just trying to bring people into our lives and how we do things and the lifestyle of off-road is how we're going to grow this thing. And honestly, people like Darren, Nelson, the Terra crew guys, like making it more approachable for outside people to like throw some wheels and tires on their truck and take them out to the desert. Just that alone, like that's what we need more of to help grow our sport. That helps support the companies that are supporting our sport, buying their tires and wheels, buying their shocks, buying their lift kits.
I do feel bad for some of those daily drivers that don't make it on Monday, though, after they take out the weekend.
100%. That's part of the story. That's part of why everyone, I think, loves it, though, too, is those stories they get out of it.
Dude, 100%. I couldn't agree more. All right, so...
And I think, like, the UTV stuff, you guys touched on that right before I came in, how accessible UTVs are making the off-road racing game and bringing the off-road element, that level of off-road element anyways, to the average person that can go out and buy a UTV. But again, we don't want to lose, like, with Terra Crew, we want to absolutely document more of like, hey, but you could go do this with your Toyota Tacoma as well. You don't have to have a $30,000 UTV. You can go do this at any form of transportation. Even if you wanted to go down to Mexico in your freaking Honda CRV, you can get out there.
Heck yeah.
But I think that's a good
so
you see them, they're out there. When you get down to Mexico and you're out there on the sidelines, you're like, how the hell did this person get out here?
100%.
When we went down there, we took a 15-person Enterprise van and ended up buried to the axle. And, that was part of the highlight of the trip, was figuring out how we're going to get this dang Enterprise van back to San Diego so we could get our deposit back.
Yep.
Dude, so
that
basically...
sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
Dude, it does, really. So basically what I just heard was I should have got the four-wheel drive Sprinter van, man. I messed up.
For sure.
All right, so I want to ask all three of you this question. I want Andy to go last. Darren, you go first. If you could do any other form at the pinnacle level of racing, what would it be? The reason I'm asking that question is because we're all off-road guys, right? Like, if you asked me what vehicle I would like to drive right now, I would say a trophy truck, maybe an all-wheel drive trophy truck. But if you ask me what other form I would like to try, that's a really hard question, man. And I like asking that question to you guys.
Yeah, I think if it wouldn't be Ultra 4, if that was out of the equation as well as being off-road, I think my next up would be Formula Drift.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was mine too.
Was it really?
Yeah.
You got to pick something else then.
Yeah, I'll think of something
Formula
else.
Drift is pretty gnarly. Like, that takes a lot of skill.
Yeah, Formula Drift's rad. Like, the amount of team, like the size of teams that are there now for Formula Drift, at least the past couple years. Like Vaughn Gittin Jr. just stepped away and brought in another driver. Now he's just team owner and oversees, Chelsea and Adam LZ, who is driving for him as well. But the level of driving that they're doing there is so crazy. Like, we drive blind in the dust and they're driving blind in the smoke, but they're driving real close.
They're real close
to
each other.
Real close, and they're going fast. So, yeah, Formula D was definitely one that I was going to pick.
Well, they're like rally drivers, dude. They're like 120 miles an hour backing in the corners with like an inch on the curb, dude.
Yeah,
that was probably going to be my pick. Is WRC.
Yeah.
I think something.
What's the
that's still
part
in the
that
dirt.
interests you about it? Like the precision?
I think the precision and just the commitment level, the note taking, the strategy that goes into it, with not wanting to be the first on the road the next day to clear the road and give everyone, better traction to drive on after you. Like it's such a mind game outside of just the race car and the driving. I think it's a lot like off-road.
Yeah.
It's not just always about putting the pedal down and being the fastest. It's about strategy. It's about mind games. It's about like where to push, where not to push, what's your competition doing? Where do you feel like you excel better than them in a certain scenario or in a certain type of terrain.
I
So
feel like
it's-
both of those are such a crucial, the crucial part about it is the co-driver. Like that is so intense
Yeah.
in rally
Yeah, 100%.
because those guys are calling it like literally on time before that.
Yeah, no, it's wild. I watch those guys, and you watch the in-car footage, and it's like, dude, those guys are fully committed.
Yeah, exactly.
110%.
Seth, we just had a comment come in that said Seth needs to have a YouTube channel because he's at the perfect age. Why don't you just make some cameos on Andy's, dude?
We've definitely talked about some stuff of me hopping on the YouTube channel, but like I don't know. I don't like. For me, I would love to have a YouTube channel just because I'm just a 19-year-old kid that does all like I surf, snowboard, and like if I could document that stuff as well, it'd be awesome. And like I'd surf, snowboard, work on cars, and ride dirt bikes and go race and do all this stuff. But it's like,
Dude, I wish I had that energy.
He's 19, dude. He's on TikTok.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm TikToking. I'm TikToking for sure.
Don't need no YouTube. So what do you pick then if you're not doing Formula Drift?
Have you guys seen the GT3 Cup? All
Yes.
the Porsches.
Yeah.
They're all the same car. So that
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of the 6100 class where it's more of a driver's class. And I think that'd be a lot of fun. Like I went to the Rolex 24 in Florida and they were racing those there. And 24 hours later, the top three all went into the last corner at the same time.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's intense.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would pick, if I raise my hand over here, I'm picking DTM.
Oh.
DTM all day, dude. Big Mercedes guy right here. That's why I want to go DTM.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trying to get in those, whatever they call them, the AMG Black Series ones. They're all shaved down. Those things are badass, man. All right, so let's start talking about off-road a little bit more, Darren. So when you started like figuring out who Andy was and seeing him out there at such a young age, because you followed him for so long, what was like the first things that you thought? Like, what did you see in him that wanted to make you, keep following him and being watchful on his program?
I mean, again, it just comes down to traveling through the desert at a high rate of speed. And that's all I cared to do. It didn't matter what kind of vehicle I had to do it in. I was going to do it, which, hence my clapped out vehicles that I've destroyed throughout the years trying to do it. But
You've moved up pretty well, though. You got a really nice truck now.
Yeah.
it's a Ford Ranger, it holds its own, but
Just a Ford Ranger.
Yeah, let's tell everybody what you're running right now, dude.
it's a Ford effing Ranger with some fiery graphics on it and 8-to-1 exhaust that shoots the fireballs and goes pretty fast but it still stays roots with its like 90s style I-beam suspension and livery and light layout and kind of throwback interior and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to play homage to, what I grew up idolizing, which was like, the off-road racing in the early 2000s, which I think was a very golden age of off-roading as well, which I was fortunate enough to grow up in. But that's definitely what I grew up idolizing, what shaped what I wanted to do. But having a strict budget and not having all the money in the world, I had to do it with I-beam suspension and a Ford Ranger. So,
Dude, you were probably hyped to see all the action in Nora, dude. Those guys were tearing up some of those old cars.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, getting crazy.
Yeah.
Especially the big Oli.
Dude, yeah.
That was
thing
an
got
expensive
torn up.
crash.
Like, I felt
I think
like,
it crashed twice.
Yeah, twice.
really?
It did
Twice?
on the last
Big
day,
one.
too.
Oh,
I think.
dude.
How
Like,
much they sell that thing for? Like 1.8 million?
Something crazy.
dude, I kind of shed a tear when I saw that on Instagram.
Yeah,
I was
it
like,
hurts.
oh, gosh, man.
100%.
Did you see that, Darren?
They took something out of a museum.
Yeah, I was actually
and
happy.
You're
That's
what?
exactly why I was happy. They took it out of the museum and went out and used it. I'm all
Yeah.
about that.
I mean, I do think that's cool, but then, like, I was like, oh, God, those guys,
It hurts bad.
But it is cool to see all those vehicles, right? And like those ones are the ones that get the most play on social media. But
I don't
there
know,
was
but-
also tons of dudes out there with other cars.
I think the Vespas pulled the most media.
Vespas, yeah.
The Vespas was
Did
dope.
you see that, Darren? The Vespas?
Yes, I did see the Vespas. How did they make it to the finish line if they timed out? They just kept on going?
They just kept going.
I'm sure they must have. I mean, at that point, you're already that far down. Like,
I was surprised to see them.
Just let it ride?
just wait for the last guy to go off the line and just go over there and just take off and just pretend like you're still going.
Oh, yeah, that was so solid. All right, so Darren, give us your opinion, because we were talking about like side-by-sides helping grow the industry and stuff like that. So what I've seen in the past, probably I'd say 4 years, is that having the injection of side-by-sides at first was a little bit, I don't know, there was some friction on it, right, in the off-road world. And then as it started to grow, it started to pick up momentum. And now you see, let's just say 5-8 years later, that there's a resurgence in all of the other classes because the side-by-side guys have given, I don't want to say new life because that sounds kind of weird, like I'm giving too much credit to the side-by-sides, but kind of that vibe, right? Like they're getting out, and now there's more 10 cars, and now there's tons more 6100 trucks, and now the the TT field has gotten more stacked too. So, like, what's all of your guys' vibes on all that?
I agree. I think that they're a great introduction into off-road. It's crazy to think that, people can go get a Pro R off the showroom floor and have that kind of ability. Like, there's that side of me, but then there's the other side of me that goes, like, that's incredible for our sport. That's giving the ability. I'm all about inclusion. I don't like exclusion. I'm all for having more people out there, having more people involved. It gets a little obnoxious and glamorous on big weekends, but other than that, I think it's really cool that all the UTVs are out there, and I think it's great. It's a great entry point for people into off-road for sure.
You guys agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I think there's pros and cons to everything. Obviously, like, it's bringing a lot more people in the sport. That's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, I hate to see
not everyone are responsible.
Yeah, I hate to see that part about it. I could go on for days about the guys that go out there and just like throw themselves off a cliff because they don't know what they're doing, or the guys that trash the desert, those kinds of things.
Which I think it doesn't matter what car you have or how approachable you make it. Like, those people are always going to be out there, so it's hard to police that.
Yeah, it's easily accessible to get a razor instead of going out and driving something else and being, you'd have the same people doing the same thing.
So the message is be smart.
Yeah, just be smart.
So I agree with that too, and I really like the fact that it has injected more money, more sponsors, all this other longevity type of stuff back into the off-road culture, because all of us sitting here right now, that's what we really care about, right? Like, if you took away the trophy truck class and just wiped it away and it was never available again, we would still all race, right? Like, we would still all find something to be in.
100%.
So I think it's really cool that stuff has happened. Do you guys get to see a lot of that stuff in the events that you guys do, Darren? Like side-by-sides and stuff, or mostly trucks?
It's not. They're welcome, obviously, always. The dirt bike track stuff, we've had to hold back on the UTV participants just because of insurance. They were, the last couple tracks we've dealt with were really hesitant to open the door to having UTVs at the track, because they didn't want to portray that they could have UTVs at the track for more than just when we're there, and then have a bunch of people showing up wanting to rip their UTVs on their track and not be able to go out there and drive them. So we were only allowed to bring out our own personal UTVs if we had them. But like when we went and did Circle Pit out in Johnson Valley, there were probably 20 UTVs out there ripping around with us. So we're always thankful to have anyone involved with us out there having a good time, or whatever it takes. We don't care if it's in a Overland Tacoma or you're out there in your freaking bank financed Pro R. Like, we're always welcoming to anyone.
Dude, that's so cool to hear that, though. Like, right when he starts talking about that, I'm like, dude, how sick. I mean, I know this truck takes a lot to work with when you put it in the dirt, but like, how sick would that be to take a big truck on a motocross track, dude?
Yeah, 100%. I don't know how
Nelson, write it down.
How long it would last.
Yeah,
Write it down.
Nelson's idea. But that would be pretty cool. All right, so a couple other questions that I have is, actually, since we're talking about the trucks and the performance of these new trucks, I've always wanted to know what it feels like to drive a trophy truck. And now I want to know the next level of it. Like, what's the difference between what you drove before with a two-wheel drive truck compared to what it is now?
Oh boy.
I mean, I know there's a
one.
but you're talking to a guy that's never done it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on the lowest level of off-road. Like, for me, so explain it at the lowest level you possibly can.
The two-wheel drive, it takes a lot to keep it going straight because only the rear wheels are turning.
Moving
and
around.
there's a lot of tire slip.
Uh-huh.
And you're smashing whoops in San Felipe at 100 miles an hour. I mean, you're constantly fighting the steering wheel and the truck and the throttle to try and keep the thing pointed straight. And it's a lot lighter. It's about 1,500 pounds lighter than the all-wheel drive. With the all-wheel drive, all four tires are pulling all the time. And so it's a lot easier to keep it in a straight line for the most part. It almost has as much front suspension, even with the front CVs and axles, as our two-wheel drive truck did. And it's 1,500 pounds heavier. So it's just that much more planted to the ground. Now, the offset of that is it's a lot more rolling mass to try and stop and get ready for a corner.
So we talked a little bit about it before the show, like engine braking on a 4-stroke dirt bike compared to like a 2-stroke dirt bike. Is there any correlation to that between the two-wheel drive and the 4-wheel drive? Because the mass is slower to stop. Like,
yeah, because the two-wheel drive, obviously, when you roll out of the throttle, it's going to start slowing down a lot more than something with.
But skippy though, right? Like skippy and moving around.
The two-wheel drive was a little bit more skippy, moved around a little bit more, and there's a lot more playing with the throttle.
Got it.
I was big on playing with the throttle to try and keep the thing pointed straight. But with suspension and the way the trucks have progressed, I mean, once you get used to it, it's like going fast in a razor. Like once you get some seat time in it, you're going to be good in no time. That's pretty much what the two-wheel drive was like. The all-wheel drive takes a little bit more getting used to,
right?
Especially because you're trying to change some tendencies that you learned driving a two-wheel drive for so long. So,
well, I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, and Darren, you might be able to understand a little bit about this. Is like with the all-wheel drive, it comes to what we were talking about with the rally guys or the street guys. Like you really have to be precise because if you make a mistake at that point, you can't get out of it as easy.
Yeah, It's really hard. It's all situational. Like it depends on the terrain and if it's sandy, if it's hard packed, if there's rocks. The other thing with the all-wheel drive, because it's so much more heavy, trying to get it turned or trying to miss a rock, it's not nearly as agile. So with a two-wheel drive, you just kind of whip the wheel and bring that thing back around. With the all-wheel drive, it takes a lot more thinking and a lot more precision to kind of place a thing where you want in the ruts.
Was it hard to get used to it?
It actually wasn't that hard. Most of it was because I had most of the other guys I was racing against were in two-wheel drives. So in a lot of the Mexico style roads, just on the two-track stuff around Mike Sky Ranch and the tighter stuff, the all-wheel drive is just so much faster.
Just
that you didn't have to push it through the corners nearly as hard as you did a two-wheel drive. Now that everyone has one, and you pretty much have to have one if you want to win, now there's almost a second learning curve of driving style.
Oh, because
really
now you have to elevate above that.
Yeah, now you got to go fast through the corners and carry your speed more. And like I said, it comes down to 4 seconds to win a race. So, all those little bits add up to your confidence.
Darren, that's actually insane to think about. Like when you think about it, like everybody's like, okay, it's a two-wheel drive and a four-wheel drive. You're going to clearly go faster in a four-wheel drive. Well, now listening to what Andy's saying is like that level of precision has to be escalated because every single other person came up to that level. That's insane.
Yeah, well, I drive a 5,800 pound I-beam truck with 700 horsepower, so I can't relate.
That's still a lot, though.
Yeah,
but no, I
definitely
could agree. Like, imagine like having 10 people out there running with $1 million trucks going that kind of speed is insane. I mean, I just wish we could see it more. That's the only thing I wish. I wish we got like some type of way to watch it because it is definitely got to be a sight to see now that we have so much more ability out there. It's so much more, and it's elevating the talent and everything else. It's just awesome.
Yeah,
and
we got to keep talking.
I can't help but think that a lot of the four-wheel drive stuff must have came from going down there and pre-running UTVs. I mean, obviously, all-wheel drive always has been wanted in trophy trucks, but do you think UTVs have played into the trophy trucks going all-wheel drive faster? Maybe.
That's a good question. The guys who built this started in Yamaha Rhinos. Neil and Robert Mason. They started out racing Yamaha Rhinos in like 2007, 8, 9.
Oh, really?
And then they built the Mason Pro Runner. I think those had a class. It was like and then like a limited 7 truck. So they definitely started, in the UTV game and then built up from there. I think that coupled with the Ultra 4 stuff actually was a big catalyst because the portal hubs in the front were used in the Ultra 4 stuff, and I think they probably took some things from that being not just rock crawlers, but then they brought them into the desert, and now they were going through whoops and they need more wheel travel. So how are you going to accomplish that? So I think that kind of progressed into the.
That's a good point because they all had different like transfer cases and differentials. They all met. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Yeah. That's a really good question, Darren. I think that's actually probably a question that could be answered in a full show.
For sure.
100%. Man. So have you been to watch any of those races, Darren? Because I was just thinking as you said it, I'm like, all right, now we got to get Derek at Optic to have Starlink in his helicopter and just straight up just live stream the whole thing.
No, I think that's the future of our sport is being able to bring it to the viewers without just a live feed from the start line and the finish line.
Exactly.
When I don't race and I watch a live feed from the start line, I'm like, I can go to sleep right now. At the finish line, it's a little bit better because you're a little bit on the edge of your seat with like what's going to happen, who's going to win. Even at the 500 that year, the live feed went out as my cousin and I were finishing.
Oh.
And you couldn't, Fish was there on Fish Justice with a stopwatch, and he was going to time me as I came in. It would have been this big thing, and you could have played up how close we were, but like
the internet connection goes out.
It turned into nothing.
Oh, man.
And it's like, those are the opportunities where it's like you get people on the edge of their seats, you got to deliver. And if you can't deliver it, like, what are we all doing?
That's why you were so interested in all this technical setup that I got going here.
100%. I'm like, how are we dialing this in? How do we bring this to the masses? Like, I think we can't put it on TV because that just takes its own thing with its own investment value.
Look, we got a little sneaker in the background of Darren's picture right there. Let's wave to her. Who's that, Darren, behind you?
It's Tinley.
Hi.
Hi, Tinley.
Oh, now it's looking funny.
Oh, that's funny.
I just got a text from Kellen Walsh saying that you need to get out to Dakar and he's ready to co-pilot for you.
Yeah, I've been talking to Kellen a little bit about that.
Look at that. Well, how would that work out?
Cool.
I don't know. It's on the radar for sure, and just the right opportunity has to come up. And Seth's getting all the rides and all the seats right now, so maybe I can go to T3.
He's taking everything.
Once he moves out.
So
I'll come on to the Red Bull Junior team, and I'll demote myself, and we'll give Seth the escalation.
We'll call it like I have to make a big name. Red Bull Big Junior Team.
I like that.
Red Bull Big the senior team.
Yeah, senior team.
Oh, that would be hilarious. What would be your preferred vehicle if you went down there to Dakar?
You got to be careful here.
What are the cars? Are they T1? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, T1, T2, T3, T4.
I'm taking a big truck.
I mean, obviously the T1 Plus is like it's like the Mason all-wheel drive of what?
Yeah, because that's the car with the long travel, right?
It's like 4-wheel drive, but you can run the bigger tires. And
there's multiple T1 Pluses. Which one are you talking about? The Hilux?
That one looks sick. The one like Nasser drives?
There's the Hilux and there's the BRX, the Audi.
Yeah, those.
So which one?
The Audi is that the electric car.
Honestly, I wouldn't.
You probably wouldn't.
I wouldn't complain about either one of those. I don't think. I think they all pretty much have a good platform.
Yeah, all of them.
To roll
Dude,
amazing.
That would be so sick to see. Darren, you can just ride with me in the big truck. All right, we'll switch out.
There's 3 seats. Yeah, you need another one.
Oh, okay. So we got to find somebody else. You want to take Nelson, the media guy? You can film us.
Yeah, absolutely. We always throw Nelson in. I like throwing Nelson in on uncomfortable things just to get us going,
Yeah, that works out good. And then I can switch and do some media stuff, and we'll let him co-pilot and drive too. So it'll work out good, man. I think we got a well-rounded team in one of these big trucks now.
100%. You guys are ready to go?
Yeah. So we'll lock it down. And they're only like $1 million for each one of those trucks?
Shoot, I don't know. Those things are gnarly.
Those things
we'll trade Andy's Mason for it.
All right, we got to switch subjects here real quick.
Darren.
Interesting. That's a very
interesting comment, Darren.
Appreciate you throwing my truck out like that.
So I want to hear from all you guys because I think that there's a lot of maturity and a lot of understanding about the off-road industry in this conversation. And for all the youngsters that are listening to the show or watching the show live, Darren, what kind of advice would you give them if they wanted to get into off-road and something similar to the stuff that you guys are doing? And then both of these guys are doing a little bit different, so I'd like to hear from them too.
I'd say get involved with the team and start volunteering with the team. Everyone's always looking for an extra hand. Even if it's just like getting, scrubbing freaking rust off trucks at the end of the race, like get involved. I always tell people a lot about fabrication shops too, and they're looking to get experience with fabrication. Get out there and start volunteering at a shop. These guys are always looking to get their trash taken out. It's a good way to get out there and experience it, and then figure out what level you want to get into after that. If it's, if you can find some money to buy a UTV and do it that way, or if you are going to start building out your Ford Ranger with parts off of Race Desert Classifieds, like you're going to figure out your way in by getting out there and getting experience within the field, and however that is. You talk about early days with Mason. I was helping with their first 7 truck they ever built. Like that was my introduction into racing. Nice. Was going and pitting for that 7 truck they built back in like 2004 or 2005. And that was when I figured out at what level I wanted to be involved with. I like the mid-sized truck aspect. I like the lighter weight trucks and stuff like that. So anyways, I think getting out there, getting involved, being volunteering and whatever you got to do to get your foot in the door is your entry level. Don't ever assume you're entitled to anything. Always be there to help. Always be on the other side of that phone, ready to take a phone call to come in and help, and get out there and get involved.
Yeah, I think that's great advice.
I don't think I could add any more onto that, to be honest.
Hey, but we had a comment come in from Jason Dusty Summit. He said, when is Checo going to be driving the all-wheel drive trophy truck? Seth, did you ask him this weekend?
No, yeah. When I saw him, he was a little fired up. We were getting into qualifying, so I got the picture and I headed out there. But
yeah, he looked pretty serious in that picture.
He was. Yeah, he was pretty serious. Who is this 19-year-old kid bothering me right now?
Who is this kid in my pit box
is he
standing
a
in front of my car?
Is this just a skateboarding kid?
Yeah, this is one of the
trying to get a
surf
picture
kids
of me?
for sure.
But I like what Darren said, and I don't think that you really could add too much onto that. But I think there's a little bit difference in the way that your guys' approach is, right? Like, if I call or direct message one of you guys and I say, hey, can I help? There's got to be qualifications because you can't have a weak link in your program either, right? So how does that actually work? Because I get messages all the time, and Wyatt Hastings just chimed in and said he's all ears for these types of things. Like, what's the way that I'm able to help you guys?
Man, that's
hard.
It's a loaded question because it takes a lot on the team to bring someone on.
Right, that's what I mean.
It's a big responsibility on our side. And then once you do get started, bringing someone to Mexico that hasn't been there before, maybe. So honestly, I would say like go to the races with your family.
Can I even come clean the shop, kind of thing? Like, is that like
for sure? I've actually had a couple kids on Instagram like, hey, I go to San Marcos High School. I want to come by and clean the shop at 3:00. I'm like, okay, that's great. Like, I need to like save that somehow and like, print it and put it on my board so I can remember to come back to that. Like, there's just always so much stuff going on. But I think getting involved in the races, understanding what goes into putting to racing.
Yeah, work your way into it.
I mean, you can get qualifications.
Slowly work your way into it.
Like, I had one of my really good buddies. He wanted to start working on race teams, and even though like he was in the garage with me all day, it's a different scenario with me because I'm younger and kids can come and hang out, and I have no problem hanging out with people, making new friends, working on cars, whatever it is. But I sent him to actually work for my uncle who owns his own fab shop. Mm-hmm. And so he went and worked for my uncle for a while learning because my uncle's full of knowledge and he was at the point where he needed a helper and the kid could sit back and kind of watch and learn. And then at that point he has credentials, you know what I mean? And say he didn't work there for too long, he ended up getting another job, but say he worked there for a year, 2 years, and then he came to me, he's like, hey, I've been prepping razors for 1-2 years. Like, can I come help you now? So you don't have to completely jump into off-road racing right at the start. I would say you could get your foot in the door to technically off-road racing by going to shops that aren't race shops. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not even on the racing side of things, but you might find out that you might not even, not a lot of people out there, but you might not even like the driving aspect of it, or you don't have the backing to be able to get involved as a driver, but getting involved and being a part of a team,
right,
and just helping out. Maybe you love the mechanics of the UTVs or the trucks or the motorcycle or whatever it is,
or just a media guy or whatever it is. Yeah,
100%.
I agree too. So, and I always think about this when people ask this question to us, and you could go work at a dirt bike dealership, you could sell side by sides, and then you could work your way into it, and then go to the races. You don't have to be part of the team right when you go. Just go to the races, hang out, introduce yourself, and then show up a few times and then get comfortable.
Making relationships,
put a face to the name.
Yep, right places, right times, making relationships. relationships.
And I think that has a lot to do with you guys are open and you guys are willing to share suggestions just like Darren did. I think that has a lot to do with the growth of the sport as well.
For sure.
So I'm happy that you guys say that because it makes me feel like when I'm there, it's an open community.
100%.
Off-road really is an open community. Like I was saying, I was at F1, and that's a very tight community and a hard niche to get into. Like an off-road kid could definitely never, like me.
Right.
I mean, obviously, I would love to go race F1, but I don't see there's any shot of me unless I was racing go-karts, 5-6 years ago, getting into F1. Whereas off-road, I mean, you got guys who are 4 years older just getting into this, and it's like off-road's just, I think that's why the sport has gotten so big, and I think it's why it's going to never stop growing, is just because people, like all of us would love to, talk to somebody who's just getting into racing, give them any help we can. It's such a wide open family.
Yeah, it's so much more approachable. Exactly.
All right, Darren. So we're going to start winding it down with you here and just letting you go. Let's see here. Where did you get your logo for the pit bike race for Texplex? Is he asking me that? I don't know. I didn't get a logo. I just have a KMC logo because they help sponsor the show, man. So, Darren, it sounds like you guys got a lot of commotion going on back there. They're trying to get you out over there to have dinner.
Dad life.
What's that?
Dad life coming in hot. Hey, we really appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having the opportunity.
Yeah, sweet, man. We really appreciate it. So, all right, Darren, we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, see you guys.
Later, Darren.
Super cool to see because he comes from a little different perspective than we do, like with racing and all that stuff. And I love to see that off-road really has that web that everybody really likes to see. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's a big community of people that love the desert and love off-roading, and we all do it on different levels and different platforms. But at the end of the day, we're all one big family. We're all interconnected. We like living our dirt life. Yeah, 100%. There you go. I say 100% way too much. I think I've said it like you need to not say times. Fire too. By the way, I haven't heard him say fire. I haven't said fire one time. If you watched his release, Nelson told me to say fire. He did not. Oh no, he told me to say spicy. Spicy was wasted. And I was like, dude, no one says spicy. I like spicy. I never say spicy. I like crispy too. Crispy's good. I like that. That's one of my weird words. Okay. I say spicy when you saw a comment come through. I saw a comment about UTV takeover. I'm not too sure what it was. There's a lot of people talking about Caden McCackern just joined us. There's a lot of people talking about Texplex and Mid America too. All right, so the conversation is getting kind of twisted. We're going to take a quick commercial break real quick, and then we're going to come back. And I have I don't know, man. We still got a little bit of questions for these guys. One of them is a question, where did the nickname Bebo come from? So we're going to actually answer that in just a second. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in Desert and Score. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target. We are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
The new Code Shooter from Evolution Power Sports puts the power of ECU tuning right in the palm of your hand. Available for Can-Am and Polaris, the industry's most innovative app-based ECU tuning device, lets you flash your vehicle's ECU, read and reset diagnostic codes, and monitor critical live engine data, all from your smartphone. Additional code shooter features for Can-Am include optional dash flash, real-time monitoring of air-fuel ratio and belt temperature, and adjustable launch control for the ultimate advantage off the line. Code Shooter unleashes the full potential of your vehicle, putting you in complete control wherever Wi-Fi access or 4G cell service is available. No more waiting. No more sending in your ECU. Download, connect, flash, ride. The power of ECU tuning in the palm of your hands at evopowersports.com.
Music is a powerful force. It can turn a morning commute into an inspirational wake-up call, and a road trip into an unforgettable journey. It provides the backdrop for epic moments and makes every mile more enjoyable. At JL Audio, our love of the musical experience drives us to pursue great audio. It's not just about being loud. It's about dynamic accuracy, intricate detail, and a complete immersion in the spectrum and texture of the music and the space it inhabits. Introducing JL Audio's latest endeavor in our pursuit of great audio. A complete family of car amplifiers that combine powerful digital audio technology with exceptionally clean power, all controlled from an intuitive interface. It's our most ambitious and sophisticated project ever. VXI from JL Audio. Great audio simplified.
Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile, including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more. All manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our products in action. Zollinger Racing, the best products, period. Finally, we got Lance from Solderweld in the studio. Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why not? So good to be here, man. It's been a lot. I'm trying to get down here forever, and I wanted to talk about the off-road kit.
Dude, I love those things. I got it in my pack.
Yeah, we're running hundreds of vehicles now running them, whether it's a UTV or some guy's got it in a backpack on his motocross. He's got everything he needs to make a fix right there on the fly, out on the trail, or in the desert, whatever it is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for, but explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small torch. You can throw it in there or throw it on the rig with your flux. It decontaminates and cleans like, let's say, a radiator. You get a random rock chip runs through as you're racing. You get a rock chip in a radiator. You got to fix it right there or you're out of the race.
You can patch it up.
It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah, also as well with that, you've got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel, and then your hot block, heat absorption putty. So it keeps you from getting burned, number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything, so that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in
It's like a first aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, Chase trucks have it as well, so that if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done and get it done quick and get you back in the race.
Dude, those things are so cool. All right, so it's at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
And now back to the Dirt Life Show
All right, man. We are back to episode 128 of the Dirt Life Show at Andy McMillin Racing is what we're calling it at the shop. So thank you very much for having us, dude. Really appreciate it. Did you guys get your fill of Cane's?
Yeah, I powered down my chicken pretty quick, actually.
I pretended like I wasn't eating anything, but I took up his fries.
Nice, dude. All right, so we were talking about we're going to actually talk about quite a bit more questions, but we're going to get Ryan Edwards from KMC Wheels on here. You guys down to talk with that, dude?
Right on.
It's going to be a handful, but I'm down. Bring them out. Bring them out.
He's probably going to have all kinds of questions about F1 in Miami,
Probably.
all kinds of
He
fun
was DMing
stuff,
my
dude.
mom saying that he's never been more jealous of somebody in his life.
Dude, there was a person.
agree.
There was definitely a
right there with
person that was more jealous than him, and that was Mila, dude. Mila was freaking out. He was so stoked that you were there.
That's sick.
Ryan Edwards, KMC, what up?
What up, guys?
Hey, Brian.
How are you doing?
You look like a bronze god right now.
That's what I like to hear.
Oh man, we're just glad that he didn't wear his blown out Vans, dude. He wore the newies.
Guys, they're my daily drivers. Like, I don't have to wear some fancy shoes to go ride 110s and work on race cars, all right?
You ride 110s?
I ride every day.
Big 110 guy.
Big 110
He
guy.
tried.
Sounds fun.
Hey Ryan, so let's just ask the simple question: when did you start following, or did you meet Andy?
Well, I've followed Andy since I was like, what, 08, 09,
Oh, wow.
and back in the heyday.
Good years.
And then working at KMC, I get to work with him.
It's pretty cool how it comes full circle, right?
Touch my hand,
You
dude.
touched my hand.
You're on my chair.
Dude,
I
things
was
are
on
getting
my
weird right here, Ryan. Things
I'm
are
going
getting
to have to lean this way now.
Yeah.
Made in heaven.
Your audio keeps cutting out just a little bit. So, all right. So a couple of things that we were talking about is being like at the premier level of racing, like, cause obviously Seth just got back from, Formula One, and then, Andy is at the top level in the off-road world. It's pretty cool to see, but we've also been talking about the, entry level stuff with side-by-sides and stuff like that. And known Andy since like 2008, basically what you're saying. You've seen a lot of growth in the industry because of all this same stuff too.
Yeah, I think it's pretty rad that, back in 08, 09, it was like everybody wanted to be a trophy truck racer, but that's not possible for 98% of the people out there. So once the side-by-side started coming out, like guys like Seth and, James and all of us started gravitating towards those because it was cheaper and easier to get involved with.
Yeah,
and we felt like we were driving trophy trucks.
And we still have dudes to look up to, like this guy right here, right?
Yeah.
So
pumping me up, and
That
I'm
was
so
cute.
awkward.
That was really, really cute.
hey, I didn't want the trophy truck guys to feel left out because UTVs are blowing up so big. I mean, gosh.
It's true. We're kind of being left in the dust, to be honest, the way those guys are moving forward.
One thing that I wanted to know, Ryan, is I don't know how much you've hung out with Andy, but I want to know what a day in the life of Andy McMillin is. Like, what are you doing? I mean, are you like...
here.
Just
Me.
a day in the life, dude. Like,
let's see. Well, I got 2 kids at home.
Yeah.
My daughter Harper's 7 and a half.
That's like most of the day right there.
100%. No, I mean, you're right. I can't say 100% anymore. My son just turned 4 before the San Felipe race. So that keeps my wife extremely busy and keeps me busy when I get home. But no, I come to the shop every day, checking in on the guys, prepping the truck, making plans for the next race, working on stuff with Nelson, trying to bring value to the sponsors and all of our partners. And just trying to figure out, honestly, just how to grow this thing and how to make my team better, how to make the truck faster, how to.
I'm going to tell you right now, hands down, bringing Nelson on board was crucial.
Yeah,
good.
I keep telling him he's killing it. So.
I was lacking for a while, so.
No, you did an awesome job by picking him.
My social sucks, and I was even chirping at Andy for a little while, like about a year ago, to start pumping the socials.
Well, it was supposed to be you for a while.
Being your social
guy.
Then
it would just be a bunch of girls.
Call me out like that right now. Oh.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I'm here all day. I go home, have dinner, put the kids to bed.
I get a FaceTime. You forgot. You usually FaceTime me. Give me a quick little phone call.
Yeah, we do.
Let's talk about this FaceTime that you gave him in Miami, just like flexing right in front of him.
No, I called him and invited him to the race.
Like in the pit area.
I was in the pit
straight
area.
Up crawled through the phone and killed Seth if he
No, I was in the pit area. I'm with the cars, and I'm like, wait, we got an extra ticket. I'm going to call Andy. called Andy. Guess what? He was playing golf and didn't decide to come to F1 racing. He wanted to stay and play golf.
Caught me at a bad time.
Yeah, let me just pick up and go to Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was playing golf, so he could have just left golf. Obviously, he was, free for that day.
I didn't have my priorities straight, for sure.
Yeah, there's one thing called kids.
Yeah.
So you got to wait.
Family life.
I don't plan on any of those.
So, like, inside what you're talking about with a day in the life, like, there's a lot of detail points in there that I just barely got half an hour of a glimpse. Like, so Ryan, when you're operating a full tilt premier race program, there's so many little details that go into this thing. Like, I had the opportunity to see a little bit of stuff, and we're probably going to do a shop tour if you have us back. It'll be kind of cool to check out. But they were, for a good hour and a half, just looking at data on certain things that I wouldn't even think are important. And that's the level of professionalism and expertise that goes into these top level programs. So he's being modest when he says a day in the life is I do these 3 things, because there's so many things that happen in the middle.
Yeah, I could imagine. I mean, the cool part with Andy is, a text or a phone call, he reaches out and asks those questions, which, some people don't do a lot of. So it's cool to be involved at that level and be able to be like, hey, you need this torque or whatever, this air pressure for the bead seats or whatever. Like, having someone that involved really shows like where the program goes.
That's actually a good point to bring up, because you're giving feedback back to them too, right?
Right. I mean, because it's all product development, and what we do on the race cars and what we learn goes straight into all the street stuff, and just trying to make everything better, honestly. And
he's running stuff that people probably won't see for the next 2 or 3 years, but we're testing it. You know what I mean?
And
Seth doesn't get that kind of stuff, but
whoa,
actually,
no,
big UTV guy over here.
Let me pull the wristbands back out. We want to start flexing again. We'll start flexing again. All right.
Big flex.
That is super funny. But that does actually bring up a good point, though, is that the development, because we were talking about the development of the two-wheel drive, the all-wheel drive, and the close proximity of finishes and all of these different things that have elevated the sport. But all of that is because of all of these people in the industry working together for race programs like yours, dude. Yeah. That's such a good team effort.
Not 100%.
110.
You're very accurate with that
Exactly,
statement.
George. Exactly.
Oh, that
I've
was
said it better myself.
Okay. That's a lot to say, though. Like, 100% is like so short and to the point.
You can say for sure or exactly. But before I forget, I wanted, when Darren was on, we were talking about going from the two-wheel drive to the four-wheel drive. And I'm just real quick, because it's been on my mind, because I fortunately was lucky enough to drive his two-wheel drive when he was doing a test day.
Whoa.
This was a while ago.
Big flex.
Yeah.
I know. No.
I feel like he's big trophy truck guy
hold
now.
on. Let me just talk.
Might as well just put him in it.
Oh my god. Yeah, we could talk about that question too.
Oh.
That popped up.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, going from a Razor and hopping around in the whoops, because you're never stable. Like, even though you have four-wheel drive, you're never stable in a Razor.
Short.
Going to a two-wheel drive made it feel easier for me to drive, because I already knew how to bounce around and keep the wheel straight, keep the car straight, and play with the gas. Because
two-wheel drive truck.
Yes. From the Razor to the two-wheel drive truck was
because
a very easy jump.
Well, and it's momentum too.
Yeah.
Right. And the stability.
In the Razor, you're still moving around a lot.
Yeah, right. you're hopping.
Yeah. And in the two-wheel drive, you're moving around, but not quite as much. And the art to driving anything off-road is anticipation.
Yep.
So like when I first started playing basketball, there was a kid on my team. His mom was in the stands every game. She would always yell, "Anticipate, anticipate!" And to this day, because what you're doing is you're trying to react, and you're trying to get one step ahead of what your competition's doing. So it's the same thing in off-road. You're constantly anticipating, what's the vehicle going to do when I hit this bump like this? If I tap the brake coming into this corner and there's a bump there, what's that going to do?
Yeah.
If I come out of the corner and lay on the throttle too hot in this dirt versus that other dirt, what's that going to do? How's the truck going to react?
That's 100% good to understand it. But seriously though, like, because I was always taught in dirt bikes to look forward and make sure and breathe, right? Because then you can see what you're going to do next. Like, and so that anticipation thing is always being one step ahead of the game. Yeah. Like, it couldn't be any better than that. In a UTV, you almost have to be on top of it because you can't think that far ahead. Like, it doesn't have enough stability to do that.
And I think that's why moto kids are really good drivers, is because they already have that instinct to look far ahead and anticipate so far.
Yeah, like Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan's a big moto guy.
Big moto guy. Seth's ridden with me, just in Glamis. No cocktails were involved.
Yeah, you're a great driver.
You ride motorcycles in Glamis?
No. I was co-piloting for him.
Ridden in the Razor.
Yeah, I was co-piloting for him.
It's like, dang, dude, that's big.
We also had Brandon Semenuk in there.
We did. And other Ryan. And we were both scared for our lives in the back of that thing.
I can only imagine.
We asked him. I said, "Do you guys want the keys?" They're like, "Nope, we would love to ride." And I'm like, "All right."
I thought we were going to go for a nice leisurely cruise back. No, he was sending it the whole way back in the back of a 64-inch Pro XP. Nothing crazy.
Who, Ryan was?
Yeah, he was sending it.
Full pepper the whole time?
Yeah, Ryan Squared was up front, and then me and Semenuk were in the back.
Dude, that's so crazy.
It was not my best day.
It's not your best day. Oh, man. All right, so a couple of the other questions were, dude, this is actually a good one because I still want to know where your nickname came from. But Ryan's a big taco guy. Seth's a big taco guy, and I would like to claim that I'm the biggest taco guy. But
I'd say so.
But
I'll give it to you.
I want to know where the best taco shop is in Baja with your experience.
I don't have a lot of Baja experience. I was lucky enough to go pre-running with Andy, and that's about all I've gotten.
That was just down in San Felipe.
I'll tell you what mine is Ryan, was it called Tacos El Poblano that Erica Sachs took us to down like in San Vicente?
But it was the one. It was down by La Bufadora.
You can't beat a Valley T taco.
Those are so good too.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
Valley T taco.
Valley T tacos. There's a.
I think that's just because you've been pre-running and you're so damn hungry.
For sure.
You're in the middle of nowhere. You just walk.
But still, there's something about.
You just walk down the goat trail.
My co-writer and I'm a big food guy. If you couldn't tell by my build here. The seasoning and the flavor of the carne asada is what sets the tacos apart for me.
Yeah.
That has to be a good flavor, well salted piece of meat.
I think a large part for me is tortilla.
The tortilla as well. Tortilla comes in a close second. The freshness of the tortilla, but the carne asada and Valley T, how well they season it, it puts it on a different playing field. However, a very close second or tied for first is El Trilero in Ensenada.
Oh yeah, of course. That's
just north of town.
I think it's good. I really honestly didn't know that I was interviewing Bobby Flay today.
I know. I apologize.
Dude, wait, you haven't followed his Instagram? He's got a cooking channel.
Dude, just straight up schooled me on the tacos. All right, so I can't wait to go down to the 500. All right, Ryan, did you know that he's got a nickname, Bebo?
Yes, I knew that. I never knew where it came from.
I want to know.
It's not the most riveting story ever told. So the way my dad tells it, and actually I just watched the intro to this movie thing that the Mad Media guys, Martelli Brothers, came out with because they were doing all my YouTube stuff and some filming for me back in 2006 when I raced with Robbie Gordon. And we were watching the intro to this movie, and my dad goes in to tell the story. So I guess my sister's 2 years older than me. She was practicing words that start with the letter B. And then she turned to me and said, Bebo. And then my mom started calling it, and my grandparents, and my dad hated it. Like, he couldn't stand the word Bebo. People were calling me Bebo. He's like, that's the stupidest thing ever. I don't know why people are calling him that. And then literally until I was probably 18 or 19 years old, every single person I was introduced to always referred to me and called me Bebo.
Really?
So it just kind of...
I've never heard your dad call you Andy.
So it just stuck?
Yeah, I guess I don't notice that.
To this day, he still calls you Bebo.
Yeah, because even I hired some new guys at the shop, and we were in a team meeting, and he would refer to me as Bebo, and they're like, your dad kept saying Bebo and then talking to you? What the hell?
They had to do a double take.
Yeah, I'm like, it's just this weird nickname.
Who is this guy?
Yeah, 100. Yeah, not 100%.
I was a fat kid when I was younger, so my nickname was Moosh and Porky.
Yeah, but your nickname's Cheeto now.
I got Cheeto now, but I was Moosh and Porky.
You were fat?
Look at my mom just commented and said, Seth, should I tell everyone yours?
Yeah, so I told her. I was going to wait for her to chime in on that one.
Yeah, no, it was
That's hilarious.
Mooshy and Porky was mine.
Which did you like better? Did you have a preference?
Porky was way better.
Porky was 100% better?
Porky, I think, 100%. I think Porky, I was in love with bacon. Still am to this day. You can't be.
Yeah. How can you be?
I think that also.
I think we need some baby pics to prove this.
No, you can wait until Valentine's Day.
I was just going to say,
you can wait until Valentine's Day when my mom posts it
I
again
need to see
for the 30th
your
time.
face, but super fat. That would just like
moosh.
because you're so not skinny,
I
but
mean, he
you're
didn't lose his
very
baby
petite.
fat till he was like 14.
Really?
I just picture like when you guys are saying these, I just picture like a circle with eyeballs.
Yeah.
You guys just wait
Especially
until
because how
Valentine's
much
Day.
you're talking up how fat you were. Like
You
I
guys
really
wait until
wanna see
Valentine's Day when you see me my nice little Cupid thing when I was like 2 years old that my mom loves to show everybody. So
Awesome.
Oh, she's got that on you?
you know.
That's hilarious.
Got it.
Hey, Ryan, did you know that Andy is a big dirt bike guy now? Just got a beta?
I saw that.
Let's talk about
With
that.
the
this.
beta.
Guy.
I had to bring
My
over a
friend
couple
told
sets of
me I
boots.
should buy it.
Yeah, I had to bring over
Coming in strong.
big moto guy.
My buddies are dual sporting,
Dude.
and
Yep.
they're texting me pictures, and like we're barbecuing on Sunday, and I'm like, that looks so fun. I want to do that. They're like, dude, buy a bike, get a license plate, let's go riding. I'm like,
As soon
okay,
as you
let's
said
go.
that, the king of dual sport just joined.
Oh, my God,
James
dude.
Yeah, James just logged on.
No, dude.
There it is.
Oh, there it
dude.
is.
There it is.
Dude.
There she is.
I think that I need that for his contact
You're
photo
like a
when he
baby.
calls me.
Oh, that is hilarious. Yeah, I'm going to put that as your
Dude,
default now.
Dude,
Chunky.
you're like 1 year old.
Okay, but that lasted
You're
a
like
long
10
time.
months.
That lasted a while.
That
did
is
it?
hilarious.
That lasted a while. He's just thinning out now.
I'm just starting to thin out. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much, Amy. This is a beautiful Valentine's Day picture. So any of you ladies, Seth is very sensitive. He can get it done. Like- Oh,
yeah,
that's
sure.
awesome, man. All right, so the Bebo thing, it just kind of came naturally. That's a good thing, though, because
Yeah.
I hate when people nickname themselves. Like, that's the worst.
That's super super.
Can't do that.
Super
No.
weird.
All right, so let's get back to talking about this dirt bike stuff. Like, Ryan, you know me, like I keep going off and on. Like every time I see you guys go dual sport, and I'm like, I got to get a bike, and then I'm out of town, and then I forget about it. And then so it got me jonesed up again when I heard him talking about it today.
I'm ready. My bike's ready. Prepped. When I get home, we're riding.
What do you have, Ryan?
Honda 450L.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just ordered a new bike.
Well,
a week.
let me guess. KTM.
Yes, sir.
Which one did you get?
The factory
Big
edition.
Red Bull guy over here.
Yep.
Oh,
Factory
shut
edition.
up.
Yeah.
Are you going to be
Yeah.
trail riding it though, or no?
I'll be doing everything. I mean, I'll hit the streets with you guys. I just got to zip tie a plate on there. and
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
it's
look at
legal.
me. He's going to be
Yeah,
hanging
that's
out
some
with Meek
some
Mill
beers.
just straight up 12 o'clock.
Yeah,
man.
just straight biker boys.
Dude.
Rough rider.
Sick, dude.
But honestly, moto, for me at least, and I think you're going to realize it too, is it like brings fun back into you. Like let's admit, you
Just please be careful, dude.
No, I went riding, not on my bike, on a buddy's bike 2 weekends ago in McCain Valley out on all the single track stuff up above Ocotillo, up on the hill. And it was like just the sense of adventure and just how much like it humbled me.
Yes.
And was like dirt biking and holding onto that thing is no
Well,
joke.
and it's all on you too. Like in the truck, it is you, but there's still a lot of other stuff going on.
Sure.
Like on the bike,
Yeah.
you're
all
one in the
about
machine at
your
that point.
balance. and
Indescribable happiness.
it was really fun.
Dude,
It
the
was a good
comments
day.
are just flowing in with people shouting out their bikes and
Everyone's
stuff
got bikes.
too.
As they should.
Let's get a
Just
group
talking
ride
about
going.
this is getting me pretty stoked.
Yeah,
I know.
Me too. I kind of want to get a dual sport now, but I'm
So-
not old yet.
No, I can't wait till the next time I go.
Yeah,
I'm not
you're-
old enough.
Once you hit that past 30 over the hump, then you can get a dual sport.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I got a couple more years in me.
Dude, yeah.
Amy just shut you down. No riding.
No. When a race comes up, I have
gonna
that
put a
one rule
lock
for
on the front
myself.
wheel.
I have a rule for myself where I won't
What?
ride like 2 to 3 weeks before a race.
Oh, 'cause you don't
I
wanna
mean, that's
smoke
smart.
it, Yeah. I
So-
mean, that is a good
Super
one.
smart.
So I shouldn't ride. Okay, I have about 2 more weeks. I have 2 more
Yeah.
weeks. to
We ride a dual sport. Like if you're going to cruise the streets.
Oh, big flex again,
Hey.
dude.
I'm in the
Don't
dirt.
worry. You'll crash on the dual sport because
Yeah.
I went riding in Big Bear, hit some black ice.
Oh,
I was black and blue for like 3
someone's
weeks.
got a 500 AF.
Dude, and really?
Yeah,
Dang,
someone
dude.
said 03, 500
And,
Big
AF.
money.
Dude, get like going through the rocks and stuff. Like if you get in some gnarly rocky section, it'll fuck you up. Like you gotta be
see,
careful.
That's my
I'm,
favorite is rocks.
I'm a big like smooth,
Same.
kind of single
Flowy.
track, some hills here and there. Like I struggle enough just trying to get up the difficult hills without putting a foot down, without falling off, picking the right line. I impressed myself a little bit this last
Nice.
weekend.
Wait,
I had a
hold on.
really good mentor. Thank you.
Good job, George.
But no, I know my limits. I'm not going to go out there and do anything like crazy stupid. I don't like really wide open desert riding. What are you
like
guessing?
full tilt, like just killing it.
Well, like as I was saying before, you guys brought up my Cupid picture. The king of dual sports had just joined when you said that.
Who's that?
James Hill.
NBD
yeah.
Hill.
Yeah. He's got some sweet trails and stuff too.
He's the man on the dual sport.
He's
Really?
got some pretty good trails right there in Elsinore.
And I just learned that there's a bunch of stuff behind my house too, so we can go in Elsinore and then go on the next weekend over there.
Well, riding right by. I was driving.
We'll
right
just
up the Vale, like I was
connect
telling
it all
you.
together.
I was driving right by his van. I'm like,
Someone else just told me about that place.
Really?
Out there. It's east of Temecula.
Yeah.
That's where the mountain.
Yeah, I still don't know where it is, so like, yeah, don't give away the secret
George gets a
trail.
lot going on.
It's west
Locals
of, it's
only.
west of Temecula. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There you go.
it's by Ortega. Go over there.
Yeah.
All right, so like all of this stuff is making me really want to get another dirt bike, dude. And so when you talk about a day in the life of Andy McMillin, like you now have an amazing family. And you got to be pretty stoked on that. Like the camaraderie in off-road industry is like at a level that's unobtainable in most motorsports and stuff. You bring the family to the races, and like all of that stuff has to be so meaningful for you. Like, do you remember the time when you like, let's just say, brought home a victory with the family? Like those kind of emotional events that happen?
Oh man, George.
I mean, I'm just talking about like because
You're digging deep on this one.
Don't shed a tear.
Not that it's deep, but I haven't won a race that both my daughter and son have been to, and my son's only 4. I remember winning the 2017 Baja 500. My daughter came. It was the first race she ever came to, and I have videos from that race. I put them on my social media page. She's like cheering me on. Like there's a section in Valley Trinidad where the highway runs here, and we're in this sand washed off to the side, headed back towards Valley T.
Yep.
And my wife has it on video, and my daughter's screaming like, "Go, daddy! Yeah, daddy!" And she showed it to me after the race, and we ended up winning. And it just put it in perspective. Like, this is what it's about. This is what makes it so fun. Is like the family aspect of it. And honestly, being a dad is such a rewarding thing, but it's honestly one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
Right.
Like trying to be a disciplinarian, trying to be a friend, trying to teach them like life lessons, trying to turn them into a good person. It's hard.
But we were just talking about, and I don't have children, but let me at least say this statement that we were just talking about looking forward on the racetrack, right?
Yeah.
I feel like this is a staple in your life that makes you look even further forward.
Yeah.
Like at life in general, right? Like, and I'm not
Wow,
getting
George.
deep.
Wow. So
You're like a philosopher right now.
that was a
This
good
is
one.
really some Dr. Phil shit going on.
That's what I was going to
So
say.
if
But
I were to have a kid, I need to practice by racing. Is what you're saying.
Exactly.
so this is
Put him on a dirt bike at age
this
1
is
and just
exactly
let
where
him
I
go.
was going. This is exactly where I was going to go with it, though. Is like how it actually shows you different things. Like you grow up, you're 14 years old, and you're racing in the Class 1 car, and then you learn all of these things, and then when you transition, when you have a family and you're seeing all of this stuff happen, I feel like you've learned a lot from your dirt life to be able to have all that stuff happen, right?
I have.
Look at that. Look at that. That was a big diss all the way
That was a
around
good one.
to the plug.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned, honestly, is what a good dad my dad was.
Oh,
Or
okay.
what my dad is. Just the lessons he taught me through
I can
racing.
agree with you on that.
and through sports, and not being overly pushy, and letting me make good decisions, letting me make bad decisions, and learning from those mistakes, and putting me in a car at a young age. Like, he just had trust in me, he had confidence in me, he let me make mistakes, and that's what I'm nervous about with myself, because I'm like, I only hope I can be as good of a dad for my son as my dad was for me.
Well, and that loops back to the love for progression, is because the reason why, I mean, I don't know, obviously for you, it probably would have been the same, but the reason why I wanted to progress so bad was to make my dad proud.
Yeah.
And so that also instilled
sure.
the love of progression into me, even though, say, he wasn't into the racing thing, I still would have loved to try to progress, but that just made it so much better when I would come back and then he would had a smile on his face, even though he wasn't racing, he would still
And
have
I think
the
it
biggest
got
smile.
to a point that I started loving it and becoming way more obsessed with it than my dad ever was. Like, it just became this thing inside of me, that's fire that was just burning, that like I just had to try and conquer it. And that's
Well,
what
I
did.
think that's the connection with anybody that's listening or watching the show, is because
It's like you just pulled the thoughts right out of my brain.
yeah, see,
The
that's
same
exactly
thing.
what I mean. Like, Ryan feels that. I guarantee almost 100% of all the people that are watching like have that same feeling, right? Like, because I do. I have that same exact feeling. All right, let's change the subject a little bit here. What are some of the things that you enjoy doing outside of racing, other than being a new moto guy?
Moto guy. Still haven't gone out on my own dirt bike yet, but one day soon. That is coming. What do I like doing? I like golf.
Oh, big golf guy?
I don't even golf that much. Like the last time I golfed before last Friday was September. The last time before that was June. Like I'm rarely on the golf course.
Big workout
partially
guy.
because it takes time away from my family.
Oh, okay.
On a Saturday or Sunday, getting off those 4 or 5 hours to go play around. And honestly, I'd rather go moto now than go and do that. I love going to the river. I grew up going to my river cabin out in Martinez Lake, out in just north of Yuma. Love going on the boat with the kids and going onto the sandbars and just kind of letting loose. And we have a house out there, and we bring all of our own food and just being around family and friends and enjoying stuff like that. Honestly, just kind of being a dad. Just my son's playing t-ball, going to the beach with the kids in the summertime.
Seth just said that you were a big workout guy. Are you into fitness and stuff too?
I'm off and on. I'm hot and cold, honestly. I have a trainer that I see a couple days a week, and then I was going to like Orange Theory Fitness a couple days a week, but now I'm kind of packing them back on because I haven't been going as much, so I kind of got to get back in my routine. It's hard, dude. The days, the older you get, the days get shorter and shorter.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy, right?
Enjoy those long days when you're this guy's age or some of those other kids out there. Because man,
dad life takes up a lot of time.
They do. They just keep getting shorter and shorter.
But the enjoyment factor is still up with dad life, so that's cool though. Like,
I don't think this world needs another mini me running around. So
we don't wish that on anyone.
What was your name, Porky?
Moosh and Porky. Yeah.
Moosh is such a good name, dude. I'm feeling Cheeto though. Let's keep it that way. We asked this question actually last week after the Silver State. What's your go-to snack in the truck, like when you're racing?
Oh, in the truck.
Yeah, like when you're going.
Okay, let me think. Oh, there's
because we had a bunch of beef jerky, we had granola bars, we had gel.
I forget this brand. I think it's shoot.
Is it like beef jerky?
There's these little Block. B-L-O-K. B-L-O-K.
What is it?
I think it's made by the same brand that does bars. I forget the name of it, but they make little little chewy things, little like square block,
like a gummy bear kind of thing.
Like a gummy bear, but like it's in like a square. And
but it's got all the
it's got carbs in it. It's got a good amount of sugar in it.
I've seen those.
I do the caffeinated ones.
Yep.
That sounds like some road bike guy would eat, George.
Yeah, sure. I used to do a lot of road biking, so I would do those. I would do the gels.
Dude, big road bike guy.
But dude, when you're halfway through the Baja 500 and you get to the coast and you pop in a couple like caffeinated, like strawberry flavored gel things in your mouth, it's mind blowing. It's so good. I look forward to that. Probably more than anything during the race.
We're changing the whole show.
I just had George waiting for me with some pizza at the last 500.
Yeah.
That's
level. My co-pilot gives me like sugar and caffeine.
It wasn't
tablets.
good.
Yeah.
So I could see that.
Dude, we didn't really have anything
but those
else.
Are like pills?
No. It's like it's compressed sugar and it just dissolves in your mouth. It's like sugar and caffeine.
That's nice.
It just depends on
but
what.
I'm a fat guy at heart, so I really like chewing on stuff and tasting things and eating.
Dude,
while I'm racing.
So Edwards knows already. Like we could literally just stop talking about dirt and get into the road bike life right now, dude. Like if you want, we could
you're
go
big
full,
into road
dude,
bike
big
stuff.
road bike guy. Bike life.
I used to be
100 miles a day over here.
I used to be really into it, and then on my normal route, there's something on my news feed or someone told me about it. A couple guys got hit and killed, and I'm like, oh boy.
That's the thing that's weird about Southern California is there's not that many good roads to road bike.
There's not a lot of like road bike specific.
Half the time you're out there.
Yeah. And the way how distracted people are, I'm a semi-distracted driver as it is. But I can only imagine the people that aren't as good at driving and they're distracted. I'm like,
dude, I live by the wineries. Everybody's all tilted. I'm scared as fuck when I'm riding around there.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah, you really should.
One eye in it coming out of the winery.
Dude, yeah, you got to have a camera in the back of your head.
But I want to get a mountain bike because I want.
Dude, e-bike life.
E-bike. E-mountain
parents
bikes,
just
for
got
sure.
2 e-bikes, not mountain
Those
bikes.
bike keys are gnarly.
But not because I want to go crazy downhill and set records. It's just all for like the reading terrain, the exercise side of it.
So
it's just so much fun. It's
Seth
like a motorcycle.
Seth just went to Vail Lake, and I took my e-bike, my e-mountain bike, in Vail Lake, and I did the whole loop, and I just left it in the lowest one. Dude, it was a killer workout for like probably at least like heart rate maybe 190 for probably 45 minutes, 60 minutes. It was insane good. And I didn't.
Those are good trails
That's what's
out there.
cool about those bikes is that they're heavy,
right?
And then if you turn them down, you can tune it to whatever setting you want.
Exactly.
Like if you're gassed out at the end of your ride, just turn up the boost.
Dude, it was awesome.
Help you get back home, or if you want more of a grinder, just turn it down. Those things are great invention. I can't believe I don't have one.
Dude, well, yeah, we're gonna start having to go bicycle riding.
They're just as much as the dirt bike you got.
I know that's the problem. I'm looking for a used like 2018 for like $2,500.
How much are those YTs?
Oh yeah, there's no way.
Well, the specialized ones are like $12,000 right now.
That's why
The intense one I got was like pretty good,
No way.
and it was $5,500.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah,
it was pretty dialed.
Yeah, it depends on what brand you go with too.
All right, hey, so do you have any questions for Andy right now, Ryan
or Seth?
This is your show.
Oh, you're
co-host.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just pretty pumped to be talking to you guys.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, Seth barely ever texts me anymore, so
He's big time, dude. We had to widen this thing out because it barely fit on his head.
I go to
today.
F1 one time, and you guys are. You know what? Wristbands are coming back out. Wristbands are coming right here. They're sitting right here.
Big flex.
Yeah.
No, just pumped on all of it.
I am too, and we were talking about a little bit about the I don't know how you want to call it, like the crossover between all the markets, right? Like, so you F1 and Seth gets to go over there. He's an off-road guy, you know what I mean? And Red Bull and all of these different companies, even Wheel Pros and KMC, like you guys are able to integrate all of these different things and get athletes together, just like Simonuk and all these things that you guys have done. Like, some of that is so meaningful to all of the different industries. Like, as much as F1 is the top dogs, they still have to respect the people that are coming over there. You know what I mean? Like, it's so freaking cool that this stuff is happening.
I really think it's cool that off-road has reached this level to where people are stoked to like come and do it from other, racing disciplines and stuff like that. Like, 10, 15 years ago, maybe once in a while it happened, but I feel like every race there's some big name guy wanting to get involved, wanting to come out and race, riding the car with Seth, it's getting cool.
Well,
I'm stoked to be a part of it.
I was lucky enough to where Wheel Pro sent me out to Florida, and then just me going to Florida to watch the Rolex 24, I fell in love with, that Porsche Cup that I was talking about. And then because BFG actually sponsors the MX-5 Cup, and so I got to, go and meet all the MX-5 guys. Yeah, and then with Wheel Pros and Rotoform and obviously sister companies, whatever it is. But I got to hang out with like the Ferrari team, and I got invited for a test day with the Ferrari guys. So it's like just even getting to these events and
linking it up.
Yeah, just linking everything together and putting yourself in the right position. It all falls into place.
Did any of those guys express interest coming back, like to the off-road world? Like they want to come to events and stuff like that, or
no? Everybody that I've ever talked to, which is crazy to say. Like I was even talking to a lot of the skaters and Red Bull guys, or a lot of the Red Bull athletes that are all skaters, surfers, skiers, snowboarders, whatever it is, and they all think that off-road racing is the gnarliest thing in the world. But there's no social behind it.
Yeah, because nobody can see it.
But we think the same thing about them. Like,
I guess that's right.
Dang,
like Adrian Orlana just said thanks. He just ordered some of those blocks.
Yeah, highly recommend.
Good call.
What a plug.
All right, so we're going to have to get this question answered because we've got about 69 comments come through asking when Seth is going to get in the TT truck.
No.
When is it happening?
Here's the thing. We're not going to talk about it because I get my hopes up and I get upset when it doesn't happen.
He does.
So do you think that's where all the flexes are coming from? Like just trying to prove to you that
he's constantly flexing no matter what when he comes around.
He wants it to just happen naturally. He doesn't want to force it.
He's a perma-flexer. I think that I feel like this is where our sport is at, right? You have this great feeder platform and program with all the UTV brands. How do you get a kid at the top of the sport like Seth or like a Mitch, Red Bull backing, KMC wheels, BF Goodrich? How do you get those guys moving up in this sport? Because to go and race a Polaris, Seth brings his dad's truck or his truck as his chase truck. His dad and a couple other guys are his pit crew, and he goes and races the U.S. because it's approachable. It's lap races. You can pit everything. How do you go from that to like what's the next level? Like class 10 is pretty much exactly what Polaris is.
We have this conversation once a week at the minimum.
So like Seth needs seat time, right? How do you get him a ton of seat time because that costs money? So then I'm at a budget cap with my program,
Right.
but I need to bring in more to have Seth get some seat time, which he came out and tested my old 2-wheel drive truck.
But even that, to put the truck on the ground, is still very expensive.
Right.
Money.
And just a $1 per mile ratio on these things with the horsepower and the drivetrain components and the prep needed, it's hard. So it's like that's what our industry and what our sport is that's our Mount Everest, is like, how do we get these kids?
I think the more these outside sponsors start getting into it, like Seth's personal sponsors that, coincide with some stuff you guys got going on, like that's where we're going to see it grow.
Yeah, that's
the conventional
But will it grow
conventional
to the $1 million
sponsors
budget?
aren't going to go over budget because, they know where they need to be at. But there's these outside sponsors that are going to be all about it. From CBD companies to whatever. Like,
it's the non-endemic
I feel like
brands.
And I don't think
are the opportunities.
I don't think the opportunity is going straight into an all-wheel drive trophy truck. I think it's like, okay, Seth has sponsor XYZ that's a non-endemic. Okay, well now Andy has a great program. Now he can mentor Seth in a 6100. That's going to be a lot less, and you can share resources, utilize them in the same race or whatever it is, and then go start building blocks.
Yeah, that's honestly what I'm trying to do. That's why I've surrounded myself with a guy like Seth. Is like, where am I going to be at in 10 years? What's my program going to be doing? What am I going to be doing with my assets that I have here?
In essence, you become the Joe Gibbs of off-road.
How do I help give back to the sport that I've loved so much and I've become so obsessed with and has been so important to me? And I think it's the team owner role, if you will, of looking at the next generation, helping those kids build up their program and give them a platform to really show their skills and to make this into something, because off-road forever has been, unless you come from a wealthy family, which I'm fortunate enough to be involved with and have a grandfather who took huge risks to make our family what it is today and give us these opportunities, is how does someone that doesn't have that same financial backing work their way up and stay in off-road?
Yeah.
Instead of,
in
Jimmy Johnson,
essence,
Robbie
that's gonna
Gordon, Casey Mears, and they go pavement.
Yeah, just like Ryan said, it's going to keep it building.
And I think for our sport to grow, more and more people need to have this conversation. Because even at my point, I'm only 19 years old, but I talk about bringing kids in and running a UTV for another kid and trying to get a team going. But Andy and I have these conversations on how to progress.
Because you lived it. You lived it from the beginning, like scraping it by. So like what kids are going through trying to race UTVs right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. So same with Andy. Like he started his way and worked his way into it. So why not give back? Like it's going to put us out of a job if we can't get guys in here.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
For sure.
Wyatt Hastings also did a little bit of an insult and a compliment at the same time. He said, "You older dudes do help out a lot." But yeah, he's right though. Like, because if we didn't have people like Andy or Ryan or any of the older guys giving back, like there would be no progress whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And so I see that same mentality in you progressing forward and wanting to move your program and goals and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Now you don't just have a milestone that you have to reach this year. Now you got a 10-year goal.
Right.
Like that's so freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
I mean, it just took me I went through a little bit of a hard time, like in the pandemic, like some mental stuff going on myself, and I got some help, and it helped me get through it. And then it offered a lot of clarity, like where am I going and what am I doing and how am I going to get there? Like it really like reset myself and my priorities. And I was like, man, it would be awesome to do this and to give back to the sport and build it up and be part of the future and the success of it and the growth of it than just saying, well, because it drove me nuts. I worked at my dad's company from like 2012 through 2015 or 16, and everyone's response to everything I challenged was always, well, that's just the way we've always done it.
I hate
that's
that.
the way it's always been done.
Yeah.
And I would challenge it daily. I'm like, but it doesn't have to be like that.
Right.
You can change it. You guys can you can be the tool needed to help initiate change. And so what is that? And so I've called a lot of trophy truck guys, like, how are we going to give back? How are we going to grow this sport? How are we going to move to the next level? This is the coolest sport that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
How do we make it what it really should be? And I know there's pluses and minuses with, you grow it and then more eyeballs on it and then more, environmentalists. Well, that's around anyways.
Yeah. Doesn't
so
matter.
how do we work around that? Like, that can't be an excuse to not growing this into something that it should really become.
Dude, I love that you said that. That's like literally why the Dirt Life exists, is to share these stories and talk about these topics. And like, to me, like, we're such a small program, but I feel like all of these things need to be said, and I'm so glad that we are able to talk about it, man.
Yeah.
I think that, again, these types of shows could be full-on shows by themselves.
Yeah.
But all right, let's go back then. Like, what are the things that you have on your mind for some of those immediate goals, like in the 2022 and 2023?
Well, I need to get back in the winner's circle. It's been
fired up.
This is the longest I've gone, and
we've both been on a pretty bad streak.
All my racing without a win.
What was it? 2019 San Felipe?
2019 500. I mean, I went back to back. 2019 500 or 2019 San Felipe, 2019 500. We won the championship that year. I only did 3 races in 2020 with the pandemic, 4 races in 2021. And that's why I just went all in with my truck and with the program, my new shop. I'm like, okay, if we're going to go after this, we're going to start winning races again. Like, we need to invest in our team. We need to invest in our equipment and get us back on the top of the box.
What are some of the things that you look at from a personal perspective to be able to execute on those things? I mean, because it sounds like you're really putting a lot of mental strength into this. Like, you're focusing, you're managing a team.
I'm trying to just get the right guys in the right seats here, and just surrounding myself with the right people from the brands on my truck.
Go ahead, Ryan. Say it again.
I was just going to say, you're moving in the right direction.
Very quickly, too.
Yeah,
just from me being at the shop with just you and Johnny to watching the people that you have now and the progress that happens and how quickly it happens here and the group of guys and just the confidence that all you bring to each other is nuts.
Because it was different before. Like, before last summer, my truck was being prepped up at Mason. We had a shop where we kept our chase trucks in El Cajon. The pre-run trucks were prepped at Jake Velasco's shop in El Cajon. Everything was separated. And all me and my dad would really do is just strategize getting to the race and the logistics of the race. Now, one of the guys that's been with me for the last 15 or 20 years is like semi-stepping down. So now we're having to plan for the fuel, get all the tires and wheels mounted, get everything across the border, who's driving which chase trucks where, who's staying in which hotel rooms, who's booking the hotel rooms. There's so many things that go into this that I had the pleasure of not being heavily involved in, just kind of showing up and racing, to now diving into it. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of moving parts going on here, and we need to have the right people helping us.
Well, it's humbling too. It makes you realize how much like you enjoy all of it. Like I do that for every race I go to, and when I finish it, I'm like, all right, let's do it again. Like there's no like, fuck that, I'm not doing that ever again. Like I want to keep doing it.
And I think that's why I mentioned what I'm concentrating on is the people. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if you're not having fun and you don't love what you're doing with the people that you're surrounded by, then what are you doing and why are you doing it?
Well, and also, too, it makes it that much more, you appreciate it that much more when you do cross the finish line in first place, right? Because you've put all that extra effort into all of these people, and then it's a significant emotional event with everybody.
It's like my brother is really good at kind of making sense, of things that happen in situations. And I was kind of telling them at a family thing, I'm like, you guys haven't won a race in like almost 4 years. We're coming up on the Baja 500 will be 4 years. And then he sends me this thing on Instagram, and this motivational speaker guy just talking about how, like, if you went up like this and then you just stayed here and you were just always winning and you were just always performing, then you're going to get burned out. Yeah. That it gets old after a while. When you can offer some diversity, and when you can, lower yourself back down, and it makes you appreciate the successes and the wins so much more.
Dude, you're talking to the fucking captain of that lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But it is crazy that you say that, though. And in racing or motorsports, you can never stay at the top.
Yeah.
It's always up and down.
And what I learned too is, back in 2008, 9, 10, I feel like me and my program, we were like here. And I felt like we had one up on the competition and everyone else was here. And then I went away from racing. I came back, and everyone kind of caught up.
Yeah.
And then I again kind of went here again, like 2018, 2019. We won the 2 races in a row, won the championship. I'm like, okay, I'm here, and everyone's just below us. We're good. But then I got complacent. Everyone started catching up, and then I didn't notice it. And before I knew it, everyone else went here, and I was still back here going, oh, crap, what just happened?
Yeah, oh, shit.
How did they all progress so much?
Being comfortable is a curse.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Well,
I learned that.
And keeping yourself immersed in it. Like, I think when you are so detached, you lose that sense of shit. Things are moving fast. You know what I mean? So when you're immersed and you're seeing every part, like, you can kind of catch up quicker.
For sure. That's well said. And just having the truck in my shop and like being able to come out of my office and talk to Johnny about what things were changing or what we're improving upon.
And put your hands on it.
What happened to San Felipe? What happened to that? You know, what happened to that part?
Dude, yeah, I mean, like, literally the details. Like, Ryan, we were walking around the truck, and Andy goes, is that tab supposed to be twisted at a little bit of an angle? And Johnny goes, yeah, because the roof has a curve to it. And he goes, oh, cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? But he noticed it because he thought something might have been wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So,
and if that truck's, 80 miles away and you can't look at it every day, you're not going to notice that stuff.
Yeah, it's a big difference. And I wasn't always super involved before. And now that I am and just being a part of it, like, it's just going to feel that much better when we do get back to where we belong and we get that next.
Well, then it's just going to start happening way more often.
Yeah, we're trying to line ourselves up to be in that position. So work in progress, but we're on our way.
Dude, yeah, I'm stoked. All right, Ryan. So the other question that I had for him was, what requests do you have for his new YouTube venture, getting back on YouTube? Because him and Nelson are going to start posting more videos on YouTube. I want to know what you want to see.
Nelson's got his marker out.
I have my full trust in Nelson. Me and Nelson we go way back. So I know that dude can kill it with anything. So he gives me an idea and I say, we're 100% in. Like, there's no questions asked.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So I want to see more behind the scenes stuff.
Okay, I have a question for Ryan.
Yeah, let's do it.
Would it be worth me starting a YouTube channel?
Oh, well,
I feel like the TikTok and Instagram is Seth's vibe.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, I don't think it'd be worth
like that little thing you did at Formula One with that, the day one edit or whatever was hands down my favorite thing I've watched in a while.
Pretty sick.
I was in
because I was like, he's walking through the pits, like you get to see everything. And I was so pissed off at my phone. I almost turned it off because I didn't want to see more, but I was stoked that you did it. Like, it was cool.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying.
That's when I texted you that Milo was going to freaking kill you because he's so jealous.
The thing is you could do it. You could do it by yourself. Like, you could literally turn that one.
What was it, like
thing
a reel?
It
was a reel, yeah.
Well, I think Seth's in a perfect spot in his life to where what he's doing on Instagram and that stuff works.
Yeah.
But like Andy, you're on the other side of the spectrum. You have to have these big, behind the scenes YouTube stuff. Like, maybe in 4 or 5 years, Seth will have that, but I don't think it's like necessary right now. Like, don't kill yourself to try and get it done.
I would agree. I'm just saying, it's as soon as you start, you can take these videos of what you're doing. Like, when you go to a rally and you're there for a week and a half and you're testing, and then there's debriefs, and then you're leading up to the race, then each race day, like, there's so much content there that you could be saving. But dude, it's a full-time, more than full-time thing, and trying to edit each of those things together into a comprehensive story to tell people, it's a lot.
Just the filming part.
Well, going back to Nelson has always told me, he's like, dude, we should just put a GoPro on you and like video every event you go to and like, let's build something out of that. I'm like, dude, I barely have enough time for my work, like let alone trying to do something like that.
Nelson should come by and just show his face in the background.
My problem is like when I'm doing something, especially when I'm on the other side of the pond and I'm doing rally racing, I'm so invested into what I'm doing at that time that I don't worry about filming it.
Yeah.
And like my mom would be like, hey, you didn't film anything. I'm like, yeah, because I was doing it.
That's where I got with all my social media stuff. Like, you were at San Felipe with me last year with no media guys, and I'm like, I'm full-time GPS notes, pre-running, GPS at
Seth
dinner.
was almost your social media guy there.
Editing, exactly. And I'm like, I have zero time to be posting updates and daily things and taking a selfie of myself while pre-running.
But me just posting on my story what you were doing, because I was doing it with you.
Yeah.
Like, so many people saw that.
People.
Right.
Yeah. They get hyped on it, dude. Yeah, that was one of the questions I had, and so I'm glad that you guys kind of brought it up because social media is such an active culture now. It's like you can't get away from it. Mm-hmm. It's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I said, like you have to choose where you're at to go all in with something, or just keep doing as Seth's doing. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's a lot of racers that are breaking their backs to do YouTube videos and do these big old produced videos where I'm like, I didn't need that. I could have just followed your social media. You know what I mean?
I think there's a difference between doing it like very professional and very personal. And if you can combine the two, like you guys are doing with your guys' YouTube channel, it's very personal. It's very in-depth. Like you were saying, it's behind the scenes. It's raw. But
I love the interview aspect of it too.
Exactly.
Like Andy in the black room, like Nelson asking questions. That was so cool. Like I love that.
The amount of engagement I get on my Instagram stories when I talk to the camera and I show behind the scenes is nuts.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy because people want to see you.
Yes,
but the last thing that I want to see is myself.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm like, dude, I'm never going to do a selfie picture with my race truck in the background. Like, I'm not that kind of guy. I don't roll like that.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
That's
so
George's life.
Talk me into it.
Dude, I've been trying to actually do more selfies because people are like chiming in, like seeing it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to eat this fucking hot salsa and see what happens to me. And I killed it. And I didn't get that much engagement. I think people like actually just seeing the salsa and asking what was in the ingredients better. So, all right, dude. Hey, thanks for joining us, Ryan. I really appreciate it. We're just going to do the rapid fire Q&A with the boys. So have a good one, dude. Tell the family hello.
We'll see ya. Stories. I should do it later. I didn't see you, Ryan. Yeah, sorry. Somebody just commented. I said my Dakar stories are off the hook.
They were,
and I really but my problem is like there's so many stories from Dakar
that didn't get posted.
Not even that they didn't get posted. I can't remember them until something like chirps it in my brain. I'm like, oh wait, I did this when I was there. Like I forgot about the Abu Dhabi one until the AGM guys approached me and they're like, hey, remember that time you almost broke your neck right before Dakar? And I'm like,
oh crap!
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. No, I do remember that. And then we had a whole story time about it. So it's like I need to go back to the old camera roll and like do a sit down of that. I think that'd be cool.
That would be kind of cool. And dude, because like you can save your highlights or whatever, that would be sweet for you. Sure. All right, so we're gonna go get in the rapid fire Q&A unless you got any other questions.
Yeah, hey, real quick before we go away, Nelson's reminding me here. We're doing a giveaway thing on my Instagram, I think, because Nelson helped me with it. We're giving away a team shirt of mine.
Dang.
You guys, fresh team shirts.
Any size?
Pretty much any size. Yep. I don't think we have like 6X, but we got some big sizes.
Here, dude, I'll show it to the camera so everybody can check it out.
Leave a comment.
What's the rules?
Leave a comment on George's live feed.
That's good.
We're gonna go back and we're gonna choose a winner.
Okay.
At the end of the show. By the end of the show.
Okay. So because they had to be watching the whole thing, or unless they just logged on right now.
Whoever's watching right now, if you want to keep watching, win a team shirt.
So at the end of the show, leave a comment down there in the comments section on Instagram. So if you're on Facebook watching, head over to Instagram at the Dirt Life Show, check it out, and then we'll get all of your guys' comments together, and then these guys will pick one.
Can we sign one of my old visors to give away too?
You want to do that?
Yeah,
want to do that?
Yeah, that would be pretty.
Yeah, let's do it.
Throw it in there too.
I like it.
Swag pack. What's the rules? It's the same rules. Just comment below.
Yeah, no, just add it on to the same.
Oh, just piggyback it.
Yeah, just piggyback it.
Dude, the soundboard's crushing it today. Well, thank you guys, man. I really appreciate it. You guys did a fantastic job. I think Seth is hired for a co-host.
I have one more question because you never fully answered it. When is Seth Quintero getting in the trophy truck?
I feel like I did answer that.
He has his sleeve rolled up and his muscles out right now, too.
I don't know. I'm skinny. Hold on.
I feel like I did answer that. Well, you did. You drove my trophy truck.
But when's Seth racing a trophy truck?
Well, that's
a deep conversation, dude.
I actually like this though because
a budget conversation is what it is.
It's not necessarily a budget conversation; it's a goal conversation because it means that you have to find, just like all of these people that are watching the show and want to get a UTV to go racing. It's the same concept. You have to find an outlet to be able to get some financial backing, whether it's down the street, talk to Johnny's Tire Shop, or Red Bull to see if you can get some support to be able to get into a trophy truck or whatever. To be able to like go through all that process, man. Like I think it's a really good goal to have.
Yeah, no, it is
a large goal.
Honestly, me having the truck is just one piece of the puzzle.
Exactly,
that's the easiest part.
You know,
that's the easy for me at least. For you having the truck's the easiest part, and now I just got to figure out how I get in the truck.
Yeah.
So that's a good goal
We'll
to
get
have,
there.
though, right?
We'll
You
get
know?
there.
Right.
I think Seth has some stuff that he wants to prove, like winning at Dakar and stuff. All right, so battery's dying on the iPad. Let's go through some rapid-fire questions. Seth has kind of answered some of these questions here.
Okay.
Do you want to go and ask Andy? We'll just switch off the questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
So they're down there with the rapid-fire. You go first, dude.
Tacos or hot dogs?
Oh, tacos.
Okay.
What kind? Valley T, Carney?
Yeah, just going carny. I mean, I like Al Pastor, Autobata really at El Trillero, but we'll just go carny. Keep it simple.
We said chicken or asada, but
Dunes or the river?
Oh, asada for sure. Asada. Remy guy. Oh, dunes or the river? Probably the river.
All right.
big river guy here.
Break from the desert.
Big boat guy.
All right, this is more of a question for Nelson, but action shots or still shots?
As Nelson would say, bangers.
Bangers only.
Bangers only. So I feel like that's action shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I appreciate a really good still shot. A very well.
I do too.
Yeah.
I appreciate a still shot.
I don't hate on it. I just
100%. Like one that's behind the scenes, like putting your helmet on in the truck or something. Those are good.
Yeah.
All right, Seth, what's the next one?
3-wheeler or quad? You going ATC or going quad?
I grew up riding quads, so I got to go quad.
All right.
Pizza rolls or jalapeno poppers?
Ooh. Wow. It's been a while. But probably pizza rolls. My cousin Luke would like that answer. We're going pizza rolls. He's a big pizza roll guy.
Big pizza roll guy.
Yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite movie?
Coffee. Favorite movie? Wow. Oh, man. It's just the first thing that came to mind. I watched a couple weeks ago on TV. Was Training Day. Really good movie.
That is a good one. That's an inspirational movie.
Really good. Kind of crazy.
This question says sketchiest moment of your Dakar 2022.
I think that's an old question. I think that's probably for Seth. Okay, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
One superpower. Probably flying.
You're going flying?
Like, I'm not a big... I actually am scared of heights.
Same.
But I feel like just being able to, like, teleport over somewhere real quick and just jump up in the air. Like, in traffic, I hate traffic.
You remember that movie Jumper?
On any.
Yeah.
You know what I think would be a sick one is being able to see the future. Because think about how much less stress that you'd have in life if you could see the future.
That's deep. I didn't I thought about like strength.
I feel like that would confuse the heck out of me though. If I could see the future, I wouldn't even like.
It would alter your decisions and your lifestyle so much that you could see the future.
It would, but then it would like
you would never make a bad choice.
Right, but then you'd be living like a pretend life.
But you'd be living a perfect life. A life
that... See, we're getting into philosophy here. All right, Netflix or YouTube?
Oh, wow.
YouTube.
Oh.
I'm going YouTube.
Nelson's going to kill you if you say Netflix.
Honestly, I like Netflix shows better, but YouTube hooks me more.
The amount of people that you can find on YouTube that are just cool people that you can watch and be entertained by is nuts.
Oh, dude, we got to hurry. We only got 3% left.
Oh, shoot.
Videos or photos?
Videos.
Yep. Same. Videos where it's going. Most memorable race. Quick, though.
Race 2009 Baja 1000 when I won with my dad.
Nice. That's a good one.
Favorite snack?
Favorite snack? Oh, jeez. Probably Mexican tortilla chips.
Oh,
yeah, those are better, right?
Dang, yeah.
Shout out El Napolito.
El Napolito. Supercross or motocross?
I watch more Supercross, but not that much this year. Motocross is much more intense, so actually probably motocross.
For sure.
More like desert
Good
racing.
answer. Good answer. What other form of racing would you like to try?
I think I answered that earlier. I think WRC would be pretty sick.
Yeah, it would be. DTM. Who is your celebrity crush? You think the wife's gonna get mad at this question?
Celebrity crush.
Megan Fox.
Wow. No, I'm more of like a celebrity crush. I don't even know a lot of big actresses' names. I'm going
Cam Shaft.
Going
Everybody
like
will know that.
Mila Kunis.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
That is.
Yeah,
I do.
Ashton Kutcher's chick.
I couldn't tell you.
All right. So last question of the night, Seth.
Kind of like you.
Chips and guacamole or fries and ketchup?
Oh, chips and guac, no doubt.
All day.
Tacos, chips and guac.
So really appreciate it, dude. Thank you very much for having us.
Thanks for coming.
I appreciate it. Seth,
appreciate
you crushed it as usual. You are looking really fit after coming home from Miami.
I'm feeling tan. I'm feeling
What
nice.
did he say? You're the gold goddess or something like that?
Bronze goddess.
Bronze goddess, that's what it was.
Gold, though. Gold's first.
So everybody can go and visit the sponsor deals page on thedirtlifeshow.com. Help you save a whole bunch of money on all those products and stuff like that.
All right, the winner of the T-shirt contest is Wyatt 1. Is that a number 1 at the end?
Probably Wyatt Hastings, huh?
Exclamation point.
Yeah, so Wyatt won the T-shirt.
Wyatt.
All
He had
right.
some really cool stuff to say.
He did. He was engaged.
He was really engaged for a lot of the
Wyatt,
podcasts.
we'll reach out to you, buddy, on your Instagram.
Congratulations, Wyatt. You just won this badass McMillin team T-shirt, dude. This thing is sick, though. This is actually a super nice quality T-shirt, too.
Yeah.
All right,
we don't
so
mess around over here, George.
Go save some money at thedirtlifeshow.com. Just click on that sponsor deals page. You can say hi to all of our sponsors. Next week's show, we're going to have a Texas Outlaw Series recap show if we have the race this weekend. So thank you very much to everybody at Andy McMillin Racing for having us, man. We disturbed Johnny quite a bit, so I really appreciate that he didn't kill me. That was pretty cool. Thanks, Seth, for hauling ass over here.
Yeah, of course.
It was awesome. Your mom driving and just full wood the whole time.
That's where I get it from. That's where I get the fast driving from.
And most of all, thank you very much to everyone that watched the show, man. You guys are our lifeblood. So please keep commenting, sharing, doing all that fun social media stuff, hanging out with us. We hope you had a good time with Andy and Seth here. We really appreciate you guys living your dirt life with us. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Everyone's so stoked for Wyatt.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show. See you next week.